Chapter 451. The Little Old Man's Identity. 4. Oh, Lon family brat, if there's nothing else, we'll go back first, the little old man said with a slight nod. Your Excellency Du Min, I didn't know your identity previously, and it was really rude of me to let you stay in an inn, the Lon family's first elder said awkwardly. In fact, what he wanted to say was that he wanted His Excellency Du Min to stay in the Lon family estate, but he didn't know how to say it. It doesn't matter. I'm just a countryside old man. It doesn't matter where I stay, the little old man said nonchalantly. Your Excellency Du Min, why don't you move to our Lon family estate? Otherwise, my father will blame us if he finds out that we neglected you, the first elder said after some thought. Don't be afraid. I won't complain about you. By the way, is Lon Tao home? The little old man asked curiously while looking at Icy. The patriarch went out to do something, the first elder said. When did he leave? The little old man asked. Yesterday, the first elder said. His elder brother had gone out yesterday, but he had yet to return. He didn't know where he went, and he didn't even tell them. This is too much. He couldn't help cursing in his heart. What? My father isn't back yet? Lon Ming couldn't help asking loudly. Not yet. Minger, have you seen the patriarch? The first elder asked doubtfully. Minger's reaction is really too strange. No, how could I have seen my father? Lon Ming stammered, but he was worried. Where was father blown to by Icy sneeze? Little Lon, let's pack up and go back to the inn, Lung Ruoxue suddenly said, deliberately changing the topic. Oh okay, Lon Ming answered. He understood what Lung Ruoxue meant, so he didn't dare to show it even though he was a little worried. Boo-hoo, this concerned the old man's face. Lung Ruoxue and the others packed up, left the venue, and returned to the inn. After entering the room, Lung Ruoxue realized that Ren Li and Sun Wei were actually following her, so she said with some displeasure. You're in the wrong room. You ugly monster. We're here to see my grandmaster. Move aside. Sun Wei roared with some displeasure, his eyes revealing a vicious expression. Ugly monster? I'll show you what an ugly monster is today. Lung Ruoxue summoned her cute little beasts. Darling, you know what to do. Lung Ruoxue smiled evilly at her beasts. Beloved master, don't worry. Leave this thing to us. Darling jumped into Lung Ruoxue's arms and rubbed against her coquettishly. Okay, teach him a good lesson. Lung Ruoxue caressed Darling's fluffy fur and smiled lightly. Yes, beloved master. Brothers, let's go defeat the bad guy who bullied master, roared the small and exquisite Darling, and a few beasts pounced. In a moment, Sun Wei was hiding in a sorry state, wanting to avoid the attacks of the small beasts. But he couldn't dodge no matter what. In a short while his body was full of injuries. Moreover, his hair was disheveled, his face was full of scratches, and his clothes were tattered, half covering over his body, in danger of exposing his naked body at any time. Come on, come on. Old Zhao cheered loudly. Darling, scratch him. Use all your strength. Lin Liang echoed, his expression very excited. Hee, it had been a long time since there was such an intense scene. Standing at the side, Run Li watched as the little beasts punched, kicked and scratched his disciple. However, he was helpless. It was not that he didn't want to save his disciple, but under the sharp glare of his master, he couldn't bring himself to ask the beasts to show mercy. Alas! Perhaps Sun Wei should be taught a lesson. He had never thought that such small beasts would have such strong attack power. Master, save me. Master, save me. Sun Wei, who was dizzy from the beating, finally found an opportunity and hurriedly shouted. But how could the little beasts be willing to give him a chance to seek help? Darling disappeared with a whoosh and returned in the blink of an eye. Moreover, in his paw was a ball of cloth emitting a strange smell. Darling smiled evilly and stuffed the ball of cloth into Sun Wei's mouth. Then he turned to all the beasts and said, Brothers, continue beating him up. Beat him until even his father can't recognize him. Okay. All the beasts nodded again and again, their excitement beyond words. Darling, where did you get that cloth? Old Zhao asked curiously while looking at Sun Wei, who had been beaten until he had a pig's head. Hee, it's a secret. Darling kept him in suspense. At this moment, a furious roar sounded from outside the door. Damn, someone stole my underwear. Why is the security in your inn so poor? Hearing this, Lung Ruoxue and the others in the room were at a loss for words. They couldn't help grumbling in their heads, darling, you're so cruel. After some time, the beasts were tired from beating, and Sunway was completely unconscious. Renly finally heaved a sigh of relief. Fortunately, at least his disciple was still alive. These little beasts' claws were too ruthless. But things wouldn't end as easily as he imagined. Darling, resting on the table, looked at everyone in the room with a naughty smile. Then he raised his voice and roared. The thief who stole underwear is here. Lung Ruoxue and the others were sweating profusely when they heard Darling's words. They thought, Darling. Sunway has already been beaten up so badly that even his father can't recognize him. And you still want to accuse him of stealing underwear. He's really too pitiful. They actually felt some pity for Sunway now. After Darling finished speaking, a dozen people ran in immediately. One of the burly men said anxiously, Where? Where? The one lying on the ground. Darling pointed his little paw at the unconscious Sunway. Chapter 452. Compensation for Mental Trauma, 1. Damn it! How dare you steal my underwear? Are you tired of living? The burly man roared furiously. He had long cursed the thief who stole his underwear to death in his heart. Damn it! I only have this pair of underwear, and you actually stole it. Big brother, we can't let this pig head go, another person said. How dare he steal their boss underwear? He really didn't know life from death. Okay, teach him a severe lesson. The burly man was enraged. He had been using the toilet, but his underwear has been snatched away as soon as he stood up. He didn't even see clearly who or what snatched his underwear. He only felt a gust of wind blow past his lower body, and his lower body turned cold. Hearing the burly man's words, the dozen or so people who barged into Lung Ruoxue and the others' room gave the unconscious Sunway a good beating. After beating him up enough, the burly man took out the cloth in Sunway's mouth, bowed to Lung Ruoxue and the others, and said apologetically, Thank you for your help in catching the thief who stole my underwear. I have nothing to repay you with. If you need my help in the future, just tell me. After he finished speaking, the person behind him hurriedly handed a black token to Lung Ruoxue. Lung Ruoxue wiped the cold sweat off her forehead and said guiltily, It's only right to help if you see injustice on the road. There's no need to be so polite. This isn't an ordinary favor. You don't know the significance of this underwear to my big brother, said the person who handed Lung Ruoxue the token. Lung Ruoxue was speechless. What is the significance of underwear? Let me tell you. Our big brother is good in every way, but he doesn't like to change his underwear. He only has this one. The person was about to continue when his mouth was blocked by the burly man. I'm sorry, my brother is a little out of line. In fact, I often wash my underwear. The burly man couldn't help explaining. Lung Ruoxue answered softly, not knowing what to say. In her opinion, this burly man was obviously a little too stingy. Farewell. You are welcome to come to my home as guests. The burly man scratched his head and smiled foolishly. Okay. I'll definitely go if there's a chance, Lung Ruoxue said politely. After these people left, Lung Ruoxue kicked the unconscious Sunway on the ground. He's still alive. Now that my disciple has been taught a lesson, can everyone forgive him? Renly, who had been standing at the side, took the opportunity to say, Alas! He hoped that this opportunity could resolve the conflict between them. Unfortunately, his wish was beautiful, but reality was cruel. That's impossible, Lung Ruoxue said lightly, but she was sneering in her heart. This old man's imagination is pretty good. How can it be so easy? But with Sunway's current appearance, it seemed like he was temporarily unable to confess about the matter from that time. You're just fighting because of your personal feelings. Now that you've already made him so miserable, what conflict can't be resolved? Renly didn't understand. Was there such a great enmity between them? In his opinion, his disciple was already miserable enough, so the anger of these people should be appeased. A dispute over personal feelings? To think you could think of that. Lung Ruoxue said with slight mockery. This old man thought of things a little too simply. No wonder he hadn't been able to see the truth back then, and had been used by others. Could it be that you hate him so much because of what happened 15 years ago? Renly guessed after some thought. Even though he had somewhat forgotten it, he still remembered the incident involving his disciple back then. You're wrong. We don't hate him. Is he worthy? Lung Ruoxue said with a light smile. Then why did you? Renly was a little puzzled. Why couldn't everyone get along peacefully if they didn't hate Sun Wei? The matter from 15 years ago must be resolved, so you'd better not meddle in it. Lung Ruoxue reminded and also warned. He is my disciple. I can't leave him alone. Renly said stubbornly. Even though Sun Wei had a lot of shortcomings, he was still his disciple after all. Fine then. Don't call me master anymore. The little old man said, suppressing his anger. Master. Sun Wei is your grand disciple after all. You. Renly was about to continue, but he was interrupted by the little old man. I don't acknowledge him. If you insist on standing up for him, you don't have to call me master anymore. The little old man said heartlessly. Master, don't make things difficult for senior brother anymore. Zheng'an couldn't help pleading. Alas! He really didn't want his master to disregard the master-disciple relationship of many years he had with his senior brother. Silly boy, don't worry about this matter, the little old man said with a displeased glare. Yes. Zheng'an shut his mouth obediently. He was helpless against his master's stubbornness. Master, Sun Wei is seriously injured now. Let's talk about the grudges when he wakes up. Renly suggested. Alas! It seemed like his master had already made up his mind, and no one could change his master's decision. Okay, quickly take this thing and leave this place. I hate seeing him, the little old man said with some disgust. He had always been protective of his loved ones, so he really didn't have a good impression of Sun Wei. Master, I'll take my leave first. Renly sighed helplessly. With that, he left the room of Lung Ruoxue and the others with the mangled Sun Wei in one hand. After Renly left, Lung Ruoxue turned her gaze to Darling, who was sitting on the table with his legs crossed and eating spirit fruits. She said speechlessly, Darling, why do you steal everything? Beloved master, Darling doesn't steal everything. Boo. Your Darling never steals anything. I just borrowed them for a while. Darling jumped into Lung Ruoxue's arms and rubbed against her. His fluffy little face was full of grievance, and there were faint tears in his beautiful silver eyes. All right, stop pretending to be pitiful. I'm not blaming you. It's just that you're not allowed to borrow other people's underwear in the future. Unhygienic. Lung Ruoxue reminded. Alas! It would have been fine if it hadn't been worn, but he had pulled it off of that man's body. It was so bad for him to think of this. Chapter 453. Compensation for mental trauma too, yes. Darling nodded repeatedly and obediently. Old Zao walked to Lung Ruoxue and said happily, Hee darling. You're really too evil. But I like it. Hee. Darling smirked cockily, his beautiful silver eyes spinning nonstop. Who knew what he was thinking? Master, I'm going out for a while. Rise said after some thought, and then slipped out directly. Rise, where are you going? Lung Ruoxue couldn't help asking. Hee lass, don't worry. I'll follow and take a look, old Zao said excitedly. These beasts of hers were each more scheming than the other, so how could he miss such liveliness? I'll take a look too, Lin Liang said curiously. I'll go too. Feng Jing and the Feng family's first elder joined in the fun. Go ahead. Lung Ruoxue said helplessly. Alas! Why are these people so curious? In the blink of an eye, only Freak and she were left in the room. The others, including the beasts, all went out to join in the fun. Schwer, there's only the two of us. Freak looked at Lung Ruoxue and smiled seductively. Yes, that's right. Lung Ruoxue pretended to be stupid. Schwer, what should we do? Freak said alluringly, his bright starry eyes glowing at Lung Ruoxue. Sleep. I'm sleepy. Lung Ruoxue yawned lazily. Schwer. Freak stared at Lung Ruoxue aggrievedly, his face full of dissatisfaction. Lung Ruoxue also stared at Freak. The two of them stared at each other until Lung Qingtian and the others returned. Schwer, what are you two doing? Lung Qingtian asked curiously. We're competing to see who can stare longer. Lung Ruoxue found a random reason awkwardly. Grandpa, you came back so quickly. Lung Ruoxue continued, changing the subject. Yes. Lung Qingtian said happily with a mysterious smile on his face. Grandpa, what did you do? Lung Ruoxue asked curiously. Judging from the evil smiles on their faces, they definitely didn't do anything good. Hee lass, we only spread the news that Sunway stole underwear. Old Zhao said with a smile. Well done. Lung Ruoxue wiped the cold sweat off her forehead. Grandpa, why did you become bad too? Back then, you were such an upright person. Master, many people in the city know this news now. Tomorrow, it will probably spread throughout Blue Cloud City. Rise said excitedly. Doing bad things is addictive. Only people from Blue Cloud City know? Lung Ruoxue said thoughtfully. What? Lass, isn't it enough that everyone in Blue Cloud City knows? Old Zhao widened his eyes in disbelief. Alas, it seemed like this small fuss of theirs wasn't enough for her. She was the real ruthless person. Of course not. Lung Ruoxue said with a naughty smile. A little snowy. Don't tell me you want everyone on the entire Boundless Heaven continent to know. Lan Ming said in disbelief. Yes. Lung Ruoxue nodded. Little Snowy, I have a way to let everyone on the Boundless Heaven continent know. Icy, who was sleeping in Lung Ruoxue's arms, opened his eyes. What are you going to do? Lung Ruoxue asked. Watch me. Icy smiled evilly. Although he always had his eyes closed, he knew what had happened just now. Lung Ruoxue looked at Icy doubtfully, not knowing what he wanted to do. Icy cleared his throat and then roared out the window. Sunway from the Alchemist Association headquarters stole someone's underwear. The sound was so loud that it traveled far and wide, and it even echoed. Are you sure the entire continent can hear you? Lung Ruoxue wiped the cold sweat off her forehead speechlessly. Is this Icy's so-called way? Of course. This is my secret technique. It's called 1,000 miles sound transmission. It won't be a problem to spread it across the entire continent. Icy said with a face full of pride. A little Icy, you're amazing. Old Zhao praised with 2 drops of cold sweat dripping down his forehead. It's just child's play. Icy's little face was full of cockiness, and then he closed his eyes to sleep. It's getting late. Everyone, rest early. Lung Ruoxue said helplessly to everyone. Everyone nodded, and then returned to their rooms to rest. The next morning, Lung Ruoxue and the others welcomed an unexpected guest before they woke up. Lung Ruoxue and Freak were the first to come to the living room. When she saw the old man waiting for them in the living room, she couldn't help saying, Patriarch Lan, it's still early. Can't you come later? No, Lan Tao said irritably. Then what do you want? Lung Ruoxue asked speechlessly. She more or less understood this old man's character now. You have to be responsible for me. Lan Tao said aggrievedly. I really lost all my face this time. What happened to you? Did you encounter a robber? Lung Ruoxue asked in puzzlement while looking at Lan Tao, who was covered in dust and had tattered clothes and messy hair. It's all that puppy's fault, Lan Tao said furiously. That dog is really too much of a bully. You only have yourself to blame. You said you wanted to snatch him. Little Icy was just defending himself. Lung Ruoxue didn't pity him at all. Moreover, seeing Lan Tao in such a sorry state, she was already laughing in her heart. What defending himself? Do you know where his sneeze sent me? Lan Tao said through gritted teeth. Boo-hoo, he was really pitiful. It took him 2 days to return to Blue Cloud City. Lung Ruoxue glanced at Lan Tao and said without sympathy, how would I know if you didn't tell me? Lan Tao was about to say something when he was interrupted. Chapter 454. Compensation for Mental Trauma 3. Father, how did you become like this? Asked Lan Ming, who just rushed to the living room, when he saw his father's tragic state. Lung Qingtian and the others followed closely behind. They were all stunned when they saw Lan Tao. Then they turned their heads in unison, and covered their mouths to laugh. You heartless baddies. Boo. Lan Tao felt wronged. Fortunately, he didn't go home first. Otherwise, his dignified image would have been ruined. Father, don't worry. No one in the Lan family knows that you disappeared. Lan Ming comforted him. What he implied was that no one in the Lan family knew that he had embarrassed himself. Alas! Little Snowy is a seer. If the Lan family saw father like this, he would definitely have beaten me to death. Oh, that's good. Lan Tao was relieved, but he felt that something was amiss no matter how he thought about it. Father, come with me to change your clothes first. Lan Ming said helplessly. Yeah, bring me to change quickly. I want to bathe. Lan Tao said impatiently. After Lan Tao left the living room with Lan Ming, old Zhao looked at everyone present and couldn't help asking curiously. Guess where he fell? I smelled seawater on him. He probably fell into the sea, Lin Liang guessed. See? There aren't many seas on the boundless heaven continent. Moreover, they are all thousands of miles away. Seems like that puppy's sneeze is quite powerful. The little old man praised. Little Icy has already shown mercy. Lung Ruoxue didn't pity that old man from the Lan family at all. It wasn't so easy to have designs on Icy. Hee, little Icy is really amazing. Old Zhao said excitedly. Icy's status in his heart had already risen to an unprecedented height. While Lung Ruoxue and the others were chatting, Lan Tao had already bathed, changed his clothes, and came to the living room with Lan Ming. Lan Tao sat down on a chair, looked at Lung Ruoxue and the others, cleared his throat, and said, How do you intend to compensate me? How about letting little Icy sneeze a few more times? Lung Ruoxue said calmly with a light smile. Hee, lass, that's a good idea. Old Zhao echoed. I think that's a good idea too. The little old man also said. Alas! Lan Tao really didn't learn his lesson. Could Lung Ruoxue and the others be at his disposal? No, I don't want this compensation. Lan Tao hurriedly said. He was a little afraid of the puppy and didn't dare to look down on him anymore. But I think this is the best idea. Where do you want to go? I'll get little Icy to send you there. Lung Ruoxue said understandingly. No need. I have something to do. Goodbye. Lan Tao stood up as if someone was chasing after him, and disappeared without a trace. Patriarch Lan is pretty fast. Lung Ruoxue said with a smile. Hee, I think he's scared. Old Zhao gloated. There's still hope if he's fearful. I'm going to sleep for a while, Lung Ruoxue said, and left the living room with Freak. It was already afternoon when Lung Ruoxue woke up naturally. She washed up simply and went to the dining hall with Freak. They found a window seat and sat down. The waiter quickly served the dishes. Just after taking 2 bites, she heard someone shout, Fifth Miss is here. In the blink of an eye, only Lung Ruoxue and Freak were left in the dining hall. Lung Ruoxue frowned slightly when she heard the shout, and saw everyone scattering like birds and beasts. She was a little displeased. Didn't the first elder of the Lan family say that he would restrain her? Why was she out again? You 2 ugly monsters who allowed you to eat here. Get lost. Don't affect my appetite. Lan Ninger's voice sounded in their ears at this moment. You're the one who should scram. You've already affected our appetite, Miss Lan. Lung Ruoxue glanced at Lan Ninger coldly. What did you say? How dare you say that to me? Lan Ninger roared furiously. She had been locked up by the first elder for more than 10 days because of these ugly monsters. She had to take revenge for this. Otherwise, how could she swallow this anger? I told you to scram. Don't affect our appetite. Don't you understand? Lung Ruoxue said sympathetically. Do you know that this is our Lan family's territory? How dare you tell me to scram? You're really tired of living. Lan Ninger threatened. Lung Ruoxue glanced at Lan Ninger and didn't waste her breath on her. She summoned her beasts and said, I'll leave it to you. Hee, little sister Ruoxue, don't worry. Leave this ugly monster to me, Fonglinger said. She was bored to death in the space, and was just looking for someone to relieve her boredom when someone came knocking on her door. Lung Ruoxue wiped the cold sweat off her forehead. Why did this violent woman come out? Moreover, why are most of the beasts that emerged actually female? What's going on? I obviously called darling. Big sister, I released them. Qing Ju said helplessly via voice transmission from the bracelet. Oh, Lung Ruoxua answered softly. I knew it. My memory shouldn't be bad. Beloved master, leave this ugly monster to that violent bird. Darling said fearfully. After dealing with that man yesterday, they were taught a lesson by this little bird when they returned. She said that they had forgotten about her whenever they had something good. Big sister Linger, you can do it. Lung Ruoxua wiped the cold sweat off her forehead and cheered. Alas! It seemed like Feng Linger was really too bored. She even wanted to make a move on such a small character. Of course. Feng Linger said with a smug smile. Then she spat out a stream of flames that coiled around Lan Ninger's body. I'm on fire. Hurry up and save me. Lan Ninger saw that her body was on fire, and was so scared that she peed on the spot. Chapter 455. Compensation for Mental Trauma 4. Her subordinates felt the temperature of the flames and saw the beasts glaring at them like they were prey not far away. They were so scared that they didn't dare to move at all. Miss Lung, please show mercy. She is the fifth young lady of the Lan family after all. The inn manager braced himself and appeared in front of Lung Ruoxua to plead. He didn't like this fifth young lady at all, but he couldn't let her die in the inn. Manager, don't worry. My beasts know their limits. Moreover, your Lan family's first elder promised me that I could deal with any Lan family member who provoked me. Lung Ruoxua gave the manager a reassuring look and comforted him. All right then. The manager was speechless and simply left the inn. Out of sight, out of mind. At this moment, Feng Linger felt that it was about time. She retracted her southern spirit flame, grabbed a teapot on the dining table with her little claw, and poured the water inside onto Lan Ninger. Lan Ninger's pitch-black body, which had been burned by the fire, immediately revealed its original appearance after being watered. She was naked from head to toe, and even her hair had been burned away. Hee little sister Ruoxua. Big sister did a good deed and trimmed the excess hair on her body. Don't blame big sister. Feng Linger said guiltily as though she was being too nosy. It's only right to do good deeds. But her subordinates probably won't be able to bring her back to the Lan family estate. You should do your good deed to the end and send her back. Lung Ruoxua said after some thought. Okay. Leave this to big sister. Feng Linger got a rope out of nowhere and tied Lan Ninger up. Then she tied one end of the rope to her claw and flew around the inn. Little sister Ruoxua, this thing is actually heavier than a pig. But I can still carry it. Feng Linger said with some dissatisfaction. That's good. Lung Ruoxua nodded. Sisters, let's do something good and send this trash from the Lan family back. Feng Linger said to the fire phoenixes and silver wolves who came out with her. Okay, well listen to big sister Linger, the female beast said excitedly. Usually, they would watch Darling and the other beasts show their might. Today they finally had a chance to perform. Haha. Little sister Ruoxua, we're going. Then Feng Linger left the inn with Lan Ninger in tow. The other beasts did the same and tied Lan Ninger's subordinates into dumplings with ropes. Then they dragged them and left closely behind Feng Linger. Beloved master, they are all tigresses. We can't provoke them. Darling couldn't help saying fearfully when he saw the female beasts leaving. Haha. Lung Ruoxua caressed Darling's fur and smiled gently. Schwer, aren't we going to watch the commotion? Freak asked curiously. No, the Lan family will deliver themselves to our door later, Lung Ruoxua said understandingly. Humph. If she guessed correctly, this had to be Lan Tao's doing. Then let's continue eating. Freak nodded. Okay. Let's eat quickly. The Lan family will be coming to settle the score later. Lung Ruoxua said expectantly. After dinner, Lung Ruoxua and Freak returned to their room and waited for the Lan family to come. At the same time, in the Lan family estate, in Lan Tao's study, Lan Tao and Lan Hong were staring at each other. The third elder of the Lan family was sitting calmly in a chair, holding a cup of tea and drinking it as if no one was around. Why did you let Lan Ninger out? First elder Lan Hong roared with some displeasure after staring for a while. She's been locked up for more than 10 days. This punishment should be enough. Lan Tao said nonchalantly. Humph. I think you just want to see the world burn. You will definitely regret it. The first elder gloated. How could Lung Ruoxua and the others be so easy to deal with? A single Lan Ninger would probably never return. But he didn't care. Anyway, he didn't like Lan Ninger much. He didn't care about Lan Ninger's life or death at all. Lan Ninger is from the Lan family after all. Lung Ruoxua won't dare to do anything to her. Lan Tao said nonchalantly. Are you sure? Lan Hong wasn't angry anymore. Instead, he chuckled. He didn't think that Lung Ruoxua wouldn't dare to do anything to Lan Ninger. After all, His Excellency Du Min was on their side. However, his eldest brother should know that His Excellency Du Min was with Lung Ruoxua and the others, right? Of course. Lan Tao was very confident. No one would dare not to give the Lan family face on the boundless heaven continent. But he would very quickly find out that he had miscalculated. Then I wish you good luck. Lan Hong was speechless. His eldest brother was sometimes like a child. He wouldn't turn back unless he hit a wall. By the way, why was Sun Wei injured? Lan Tao asked in puzzlement. He hadn't been home for 2 days. Why did Sun Wei get injured? Fortunately, he wasn't injured in their Lan family estate. Otherwise, they really wouldn't know how to deal with it. His Excellency Du Min was famous for being protective of his loved ones. I heard that he was injured because he stole someone's underwear. Lan Hong suppressed his smile. Yesterday, everyone in Blue Cloud City had heard that voice. After that, President Ren returned to the Lan family estate with the bloody and bruised Sun Wei. Today, the news of Sun Wei being injured spread across the entire continent like bamboo shoots after rain. Sun Wei is a master alchemist, but he actually stole underwear. It's really too embarrassing. Lan Tao sighed repeatedly. The third elder spat out the tea in his mouth and coughed nonstop after hearing what the patriarch said. Third elder, you're already so old. Why are you still spraying tea? You're really too careless. Lan Tao shook his head, his face full of helplessness. The third elder wiped the cold sweat off his forehead, his heart racing. Isn't that because your thoughts are too foolish? Anyone who wasn't a fool could guess that Sun Wei must have offended someone. Otherwise, how could he be so miserable? He serves him right for bullying my grandson. Lan family, come out quickly to collect your trash. Suddenly, a roar resounded through the entire Lan family estate. Chapter 456. Compensation for Mental Trauma 5. Trash. What trash? How could our Lan family have something like that? The third elder said nonchalantly when he heard the roar. That's right. Our Lan family is full of treasures. How could we have trash? Lan Tao said angrily. But he didn't take it too seriously. Such a small matter wasn't worth him, the patriarch, stepping in. The elders would handle it. Yes, our Lan family only has a few pieces of trash, the first elder said meaningfully. What did you say? Those people are also your nephew and granddaughter. Lan Tao roared. Of course, he knew who Lan Hong was talking about, but he didn't like Lan Hong saying it in a gloating tone. It was really too annoying. Big brother, are you really sure that they're the descendants of our Lan family? Lan Hong asked uncertainly. He had always felt that the Lan family's genetic inheritance was good. Why did it go bad when it came to Lan Fei? Probably. Lan Tao said uncertainly. They didn't crawl out of his stomach, so how would he know? Lan Hong was speechless. Big brother, can you not be so silly? But speaking of which, other than Tianer and Minger, I really don't find the characteristics of our Lan family in Big Brother's other sons. Patriarch, bad news. Some beasts are here to cause trouble. A guard of the Lan family came to report anxiously. There are actually beasts that dare to cause trouble in our Lan family's home? How bold. First elder Lan Hong said eagerly. This old bag of bones of mine hasn't exercised for a long time. I just happened to have a chance today. Let's go out and take a look, the third elder said with interest. Let's go. Lan Tao was the first to stand up. The three extremely bored old men looked at each other and walked out of the study together. After arriving at the main courtyard, the three of them looked up at the several huge fiery red birds flying in the sky, their bodies burning with raging flames, and were a little dumbfounded. Damn, this is... Patriarch, these firebirds are really too much. They actually dare to cause trouble in our Lan family's home. We can't let them go. The second elder, who was covered in dirt, walked to the side of the three of them and said with hatred, "Damn it." He had lived for so long, but today, he was actually embarrassed by these few birds. Second elder. What happened to you? Where's your hair and beard? The third elder held back his smile and pretended to be stupid. Haha, the second elder's current appearance is really too funny. He would have rolled on the ground if he didn't have to consider the face of the elders. At this moment, the second elder's hair, beard, and eyebrows were all gone. His clothes were pitch black, hanging on his body like a rag with smoke coming out. Second elder, how did you end up in such a miserable state? The first elder said speechlessly. In fact, he was laughing in his heart. It's all because of those damn firebirds. They captured the fifth young lady, and even came to our Lan family to cause trouble. I ended up in such a sorry state in order to protect our Lan family's reputation. The second elder said with a bitter face. What he implied was, I did all this for the Lan family. You can't laugh at me. Firebirds, your head. Do you know what kind of beasts they are? Lan Tao roared as he slapped the second elder's bald head furiously. Aren't they just a few firebirds? They actually dare to pretend to be fire phoenixes. However, firebirds are firebirds. It's impossible to become a fire phoenix even if they look alike. The second elder said with a face full of disdain. Open your dog eyes wide and look carefully. They are genuine fire phoenixes. Lan Tao roared furiously. They would have killed them if they were firebirds, but these were obviously female fire phoenixes of the Fire Phoenix clan. Even though their Lan family was a super family, he didn't dare to kill them. Otherwise, if the Fire Phoenix clan knew about it, it would mean endless trouble. Patriarch. Are you sure? The second elder asked in disbelief. At the same time, he was a little scared. But he also couldn't help wondering why their flames were so weak if these birds were really fire phoenixes. They only burned his hair and beard. Open your eyes wide and see clearly. The flames on firebirds don't have a seven-colored light. Lan Tao reminded. Although firebirds resembled fire phoenixes, and both had flames on their bodies, these two flames were incomparable. They were not on the same level at all. They are really fire phoenixes. The third elder raised his head and observed carefully after hearing what the patriarch said. With a look, he found that it was indeed as the patriarch said. They were fire phoenixes. Moreover, there was a silver wolf on each of their backs, and there seemed to be something tied to their claws. But they flew too high, so only a small black dot could be seen. Lan Tao looked at the sky and said very politely, May I know your names? Feng Linger. Feng Linger said with displeasure. They sent these people back to the Lan family out of goodwill. But who knew that the Lan family was actually unreasonable, and attacked them without a word? It was really infuriating. Miss Feng, may I know why you came to our Lan family? Lan Tao asked, fully displaying the dignity of the patriarch. I'm here to deliver trash to you. This is garbage from your family. Feng Linger waved the rope in her claws. Trash? What trash? Lan Tao asked in puzzlement. Feng Linger gave another fire phoenix a look, and with a plop, a piece of trash fell from the sky. Isn't this the fifth young lattice guard? His body is so sturdy. The third elder praised as he looked at the guard who was still breathing despite falling from the sky. The first elder was speechless after hearing the third elder's conclusion. Miss Feng, please tell me why you're here. Lan Tao had a sudden realization after seeing the guard. But he didn't expect Lung Ruoxua to be related to the Phoenix clan. This really surprised him. I originally sent this trash back to your Lan family out of goodwill. Unfortunately, not only did your Lan family not appreciate my kindness, but they actually dared to attack us. I'm angry, so I won't give these people to you. If you want them back, redeem them with money. 100 million purple gold coins per person, and 1 billion for this female. Feng Linger roared furiously. Did they really think a fire phoenix was a bird if it didn't show its might? Chapter 457. Compensation for Mental Trauma 6. Big Sister Linger, they bullied us so much. Are we going to only get such little compensation? A fire phoenix said with some dissatisfaction. It's a little too little. What else do you want? Feng Linger asked. I want herbs, lots of herbs. I want a lot of ores and materials. And all sorts of good treasures. The few beasts began talking at once. Moreover, a black line would appear on Lan Tao's forehead with every word they said. The second elder almost vomited blood from anger when he heard what the fire phoenixes said and couldn't help roaring. You're clearly robbing us. You're mistaken. We were originally doing a good deed, but you got someone to attack us. We've sustained mental trauma, so you have to compensate us for it. This is all your fault. Feng Linger said resentfully. Lan Tao glared at the second elder, and then negotiated with Feng Linger. You want too many things. Can you ask for less? Is it a lot? Your Lan family is one of the 3 great families. Don't you have at least this bit of money? Feng Linger asked in disbelief. Big sister Linger, I think this Lan family is just for show. They probably can't take out so much money. Why don't we take pity on them and charge them less for our mental trauma? Just treat it as us stepping on a dead rat outside and admitting our bad luck. A silver wolf said very kindly, but her words infuriated the Lan family below. I see. But Feng Linger was a little hesitant and unwilling. With no one guarding the door, Lan Fei ran out of his room and heard the silver wolf's words as soon as he arrived at the main courtyard. He roared at the top of his lungs in anger. Who said that our Lan family is poor? Our Lan family has a lot of money, you furred beasts. Boo. Big sister Linger, he called me a beast. The silver wolf immediately wailed with tears in her eyes. Don't cry. Don't cry. He's the beast. He's a bastard. Feng Linger comforted while scolding. Big sister Linger, my fragile little heart has been seriously injured. I demand compensation for mental trauma. The silver wolf said pitifully with tears in her eyes. No problem. Big sister will get it for you. Feng Linger said very loyally. Bastard, you made my sister cry. You have to compensate her. Feng Linger roared. You damn bird you are. Lan Fei was about to scold back. But after saying a few words, he was knocked unconscious by Lan Tao. Old man, since you knocked out that bastard, you will compensate on his behalf, Feng Linger roared angrily. Okay, Lan Tao said angrily. He also glared at the Lan family members who wanted to laugh but didn't dare to, feeling incomparably depressed. Old man, that bastard hurt my sister's fragile heart, so compensate us with 1 billion purple gold coins, and we won't care anymore. Feng Linger said generously. You're clearly robbing up. The second elder couldn't help speaking again. He hated these birds in his heart. These birds were actually robbing the Lan family, but they were helpless against them. This fact was really depressing. TCH, so what if we're robbing you? Moreover, this isn't robbery. This is called compensation, understand? You're uncultured. Go back and study before coming out. Save yourself from being a disgrace. Feng Linger said disdainfully. You. The second elder was so angry that he couldn't breathe. He kicked his legs and fainted directly. Alas! Your mental fortitude is really too poor. You have to train. Feng Linger said with some pity. Come, carry the second elder away. Lan Tao ordered speechlessly. For the compensation you want, money is fine, but we don't have so many items. Lan Tao said to Feng Linger. His greatest wish now was to quickly send these plague gods away. Otherwise, he couldn't guarantee that he wouldn't kill them if they stayed for a while. Really? Feng Linger asked doubtfully. Of course. Lan Tao's expression was very sincere. All right. Not a single cent less. As for the things, just compensate us with as much as you have. Feng Linger relented and agreed. Okay, give me some time. I need to collect the money, Lan Tao said. No problem. I'll give you 3 days. Send the money to the inn 3 days later. In addition, I'll take these people back first. Feng Linger led the group and flew out of the Lan family estate after speaking. Patriarch, are you really going to compensate them for mental trauma? They're just birds. An elder couldn't help asking. Alas! Their Lan family was actually being bullied. They were really too cowardly. They are fire phoenixes. Do you have any other way? Lan Tao asked instead of answering. I don't. The elder whispered, not daring to speak anymore. Listen up. No one is allowed to provoke those fire phoenixes in the future. We can settle it with money this time, but it might not necessarily be so next time. Lan Tao warned everyone. Yes, the Lan family members present replied in unison. Patriarch, I'm going to the inn to see Lung Ruoxue, the first elder said. Okay. Lan Tao nodded in agreement. After speaking, the first elder left the Lan family estate with the third elder and went straight to the inn. Come out! Lan Tao roared into the corner after the first elder and third elder left. Emph! Damn brat! How dare you run out by yourself? Haha! Lan Lai laughed wildly as he emerged from the darkness. Of course Lung Wudi and Sun Ting were with him. Damn brat! What are you laughing about? Lan Tao roared furiously. He was really displeased to see his grandson's smug laughter. I'm laughing because you have a bastard son. Haha. Then won't you be an old bastard? Lan Lai smiled tactlessly. He was so happy. This old man actually ordered people to lock him up, causing him not to see little Icy for several days. Boo. Damn brat, if I'm an old bastard, then you're an old bastard's grandson. Lan Tao retaliated, unwilling to be outdone. This stinky brat wants to fight with me? You're still too inexperienced. Chapter 458. Repaying the Debt with My Body 1. The Lan family members who had yet to leave found an excuse to leave after hearing the conversation between the grandfather and grandson, so as not to be implicated and become their punching bags. I'm not a bastard grandson. Lan Lai refused to admit it. Brat, if I say you are you, then you are. Lan Tao said domineeringly. Old man, you've knocked out your bastard son, and your bastard granddaughter is in the hands of those fire phoenixes, so don't acknowledge relatives wrongly. Lan Lai said without giving him any face. He really admired Lung Ruoxue now. Why were her beasts so powerful? Damn brat, what did you say? Lan Tao roared with widened eyes. Haha, I'm going to see little Icy. Lan Lai immediately summoned his beast and quickly flew out of the Lan family estate. He had escaped with much difficulty and didn't have time to bicker with this old man. Seeing Lan Lai flying away, Lung Wudi and Sun Tung also summoned their beast pets and left the Lan family estate under Lan Tao's angry gaze. At this moment, the first elder and the third elder were on the way to the inn where Lung Ruoxue and the others were staying. First elder, what should we say to Lung Ruoxue when we get there? The third elder couldn't help asking. He really hadn't expected that there were fire phoenixes with Lung Ruoxue. I don't know either. The first elder was a little troubled. Alas! The second elder offended those fire phoenixes, and they requested compensation, so it was probably impossible not to bleed money. Then why are we going? The third elder asked in puzzlement. To bond with her. The first elder thought of a good reason. Everyone around Lung Ruoxue had dragons as their pet beast, and she had fire phoenixes. Alas! What powerful combat strength this was. Therefore they had to take it seriously and reconsider Lung Ruoxue's value. At the residence of Lung Ruoxue and the others, Feng Linger and the other beasts had returned to the inn. Little sister Ruoxue. Feng Linger casually threw Lan Ninger onto the ground, transformed into a small bird, and landed on Lung Ruoxue's shoulder. Big sister Linger, you've worked hard, Lung Ruoxue comforted. She knew that Feng Linger had suffered a lot when she went to the Lan family, so she was very displeased. Not at all. It's just that the Lan family doesn't know what's good for them. They actually attacked us. However, that damn old man isn't any better. I burned all his hair and beard. Feng Linger said proudly. Haha lass, your pet beasts are really amazing. The Lan family is going to bleed a lot this time. The old man, who had gone to the Lan family estate to watch the commotion, said excitedly as soon as he returned to the inn. Hee lass, we're going to make a fortune again. Old Zao said happily. They had been in the inn just now, but they had rushed to the Lan family estate immediately after seeing the fire phoenixes transform into their true forms. They hadn't expected to see such a spectacular scene. What's the reaction of the Lan family? Lung Ruoxue asked. She didn't believe that the Lan family would obediently send money to her door. She had stayed in the inn just now and didn't go to the Lan family to watch the commotion. But she knew what the beasts had done because of her contracts with them. The only thing she didn't know was the reaction of the Lan family. Lan Tao has already agreed. He shouldn't go back on his word, old Zhao said after some thought. If I'm not mistaken, the first elder should be on the way here, Lung Ruoxua said in understanding. Haha, little Snowy, you're right. Lan Lai's voice sounded in everyone's ears. Why are you here? Lung Ruoxua asked lightly with a slight frown. She hadn't seen Lan Lai for a few days, and she had thought that he wouldn't come again. Boo! Little Snowy, you despise me. Lan Lai's eyes welled up with tears as he pretended to be pitiful. Yes. Did you just know? Lung Ruoxua said with a light smile. Boo-hoo. Little Snowy, I'm here to give you information. How can you do this to me? Lan Lai said pitifully, looking extremely aggrieved. You're from the Lan family. Are you so impatient to betray them? Lung Ruoxua said speechlessly. The way this pair of Lan family grandfather and grandchild interacted was really different. Hee, how do you know? Lan Lai said shyly. His greatest wish in life was to see the old man suffer. I guessed, Lung Ruoxua said. Hee, little Snowy, let me see little Icy. Lan Lai pleaded. This was his main purpose for coming here. Little Icy is sleeping on the bed. But don't wake him up. He hasn't been in a good mood these 2 days. Lung Ruoxua reminded helplessly. Yes, I know. I'll just watch from the side, Lan Lai promised. Then he crept to the bed, sat down, and stared at Icy, who was sleeping soundly on the bed. Seeing Lan Lai's affectionate appearance, Lung Ruoxua thought, Lan Lai doesn't really have any improper thoughts about little Icy, does he? Hopefully not. Otherwise, little Icy will bite him to death. While Lung Ruoxua was letting her imagination run wild, the first elder and the third elder arrived. The two of them greeted everyone in the room, and then turned their gazes to Lung Ruoxua. Lung Ruoxua looked at the 2 old men who entered the room and asked bluntly, May I know why first elder and third elder are here? Lass, a few fire phoenixes and silver wolves just went to our Lan family. They are your pet beasts, right? The first elder glanced at Lan Ninger, who had been casually thrown to the ground with only a rag covering her body, and the corner of his mouth twitched. Yes, Lan Ninger came to find trouble with me and was taught a lesson by my beasts. I saw that they didn't have the ability to return to the Lan family estate by themselves, so I got Big Sister Linger to visit you and planned to send them back to you. However, it seems like they had a conflict with someone from your Lan family, Lung Ruoxua said coldly. This is all a misunderstanding, the first elder said helplessly. I don't know if it's a misunderstanding. However, they originally wanted to do a good deed, but I didn't expect such a thing to happen. My beasts are very sad. They even told me just now that their fragile hearts have been hurt. Lung Ruoxua said with slight dissatisfaction, her face full of blame for the Lan family. Chapter 459. Repaying the debt with my body too. The first elder was speechless. Haha, little girl, we can be considered acquaintances. Can you not fuss about it on our account? The third elder braced himself and said, Elders, I remember telling you to restrain some people from your Lan family and not let them out. Otherwise, they will be at my disposal. You also promised me that you wouldn't protect them, right? Lung Ruoxua didn't answer the third elder's question, but asked directly. Yes, but we didn't cover for them. Weren't they already at your disposal? The third elder quibbled shamelessly. But what I want to know is, why did Lan Ninger come to find trouble with me? I heard that she has already been locked up by the first elder? Lung Ruoxua looked at the first elder doubtfully and asked. She ran out by herself. The third elder wiped the cold sweat off his forehead and pushed all the blame onto Lan Ninger. Alas! He couldn't say that Big Brother let Lan Ninger out in order to teach Lung Ruoxua a lesson, right? Little Snowy, third grandpa is lying to you. That damn old man deliberately let Lan Ninger out to cause you trouble, Lan Lai suddenly said, exposing the third elder's lie. Oh! Lung Ruoxua looked at the third elder with a spurious smile and said indifferently, You stinky brat, are you a traitor? The third elder was so angry. He ignored everything else and chased after Lan Lai in the room. I'm telling the truth. Didn't you teach me that good children shouldn't lie? Lan Lai fled aggrievedly, covering his head and hiding everywhere. Finally, he ran behind the little old man to seek protection. Senior, don't protect him. I want to teach this traitor a lesson, the third elder said very respectfully. He already knew the little old man's identity, so he naturally didn't dare to be rude in front of the little old man. Teach him a lesson? I think he's right. He's a child. Honesty is a virtue. You have to teach him a lesson only if he's not honest. The little old man said meaningfully. 2 drops of cold sweat dripped down the third elder's forehead. His heart was racing as he thought, could the dishonest child be referring to me? He was also forced into a corner. This was all a mess caused by the patriarch finding trouble for no reason. Third grandpa, you can't run away if you did something wrong. Don't hide it for that old man. Lonlai was being even bolder since someone was backing him up. Stinky brat, that's your biological grandfather. The third elder couldn't help roaring. Humph. I call him old man in front of him. Lonlai said nonchalantly. All right, go back to your Lon family if you want to argue or fight. Now first elder, third elder, you have to give me an explanation, Lung Ruashua said coldly. She was unwilling to become the sacrificial lamb for the battle between the Lon family's grandfather and granddaughter, so she would not let go of the benefits that should be gained. The first elder and third elder were stunned. Did they hear it right? Lung Ruashua actually wanted an explanation from them? What explanation? Little girl, what explanation do you want us to give you? The first elder asked foolishly. Was he really old? Why couldn't he understand what this little girl was saying? Shouldn't you give me an explanation for breaking your promise? I thought that the Lon family had always valued integrity the most. Isn't that so? Lung Ruashua looked at the 2 Lon family elders doubtfully and said slowly. Of course, but this isn't a breach of trust, right? First elder wiped the cold sweat off his forehead and quibbled. Oh, then I'm afraid it depends on the person. Anyway, in my opinion, if you didn't do what you promised me, you would be breaking your promise to me. Of course, I don't care if you don't think so, Lung Ruashua said nonchalantly, her face full of understanding of the 2 of them. Little girl, what do you want then? The third elder said speechlessly. He realized today that this little girl was really too difficult to deal with. No wonder she dared to pry into the corner of their Lon family, and dared to teach the Lon family a lesson. There is a rule in my hometown. If one party breaks the agreement, the other party has to pay for the breach of contract, Lung Ruashua said with a smile, her expression so sincere. Breach of contract? The 2 shrewd old men finally understood. This was asking for more money. This little girl's beast had already taken a lot of money from the Lon family. Why didn't this girl intend to let the 2 of them go? It was too despicable. This little girl was really a vampire. Yes, you need to pay for your breach of contract, Lung Ruashua said calmly. We don't have money, the 2 old men said in unison, deciding to collectively cheat. No money? It's okay. You can work to repay my debts if you don't have money. Lung Ruashua said with a light smile. Work to repay debts? The 2 old men were dumbfounded. What did she mean by working to repay their debts? Did she mean working for this little girl? Working, as the name implies, that you will work for me in the future until you pay off the debts you owe me. Moreover, I won't be paying for your accommodation nor food. Lung Ruashua knew that these 2 old men definitely didn't know what work was, so she explained it to them directly. How long do we have to work for you? The first elder couldn't help asking. He finally understood that Lung Ruashua wanted them to be her subordinates. That will depend on your working ability. If your abilities are too poor, I'm afraid you will have to work for life, Lung Ruashua said very understandingly. These 2 old men were from the Lon family and were esteemed elders. They would definitely not do manual work. A lifetime? How much do we owe you in total? The third elder then remembered that he had not asked the most important question. They still did not know how much money they owed Lung Ruashua. He would not want to work for others if it was not much. 2 billion purple coins. Lung Ruashua stretched out 2 fingers. What? You're robbing us openly. Why would we owe you so much money? The first elder roared angrily. It's all because of your high status. Ordinary people don't have to pay so much if they break the contract, but you're different. With your status, I even gave you a discount. 1 billion each, a total of 2 billion. Lung Ruoxue explained. Chapter 460. Repaying the Debt with My Body 3. If you don't have money to pay, then work to pay off your debts. Of course, if you don't want to pay back your money and don't want to work, an ordinary citizen like me can't do anything to you. However, your reputation will be completely destroyed. Lung Ruoxue continued to remind them, blocking their way out. Eldest grandpa, third grandpa, you pay her the money. Lan Lai couldn't help but remind them. Lung Ruoxue was really ruthless. These two old men were famous for their stinginess in the Lan family. Getting them to take out 2 billion purple coins was harder than taking their lives. Stinky brat, where would we get so much money? The third elder roared angrily. You can ask that old man for it. Anyway, these things started because of him. Lan Lai said gloatingly, his tone as if the Lan family's money had nothing to do with him. Stinky brat, are you from the Lan family or not? The first elder couldn't help but scold him with a smile. How could this brat help outsiders? Of course I'm from the Lan family. However, I'm from the righteous Lan family. I'm on the side of justice. Lan Lai boasted shamelessly. In fact, he wanted to see the old man embarrassed. That was why he was on Lung Ruoxue's side. Stinky brat, just you wait. I'll deal with you when we get home. The first elder said angrily. Alas, the fee for the breach of contract you want is too much. Can you reduce it? Third elder sighed heavily and negotiated. Sure. However, the amount of money for the breach of contract is determined by your identity and status. You can pay less if you think your identity and status are not worth so much money. Lung Ruoxue said indifferently. The first elder and the third elder were speechless again because they realized that they couldn't outtalk Lung Ruoxue at all. Moreover, she had said everything. If they requested to reduce the penalty fee, they would be degrading themselves. Therefore, they could only blame their bad luck. Moreover, I've said it before. If you want to renege on your debt, I can't do anything to you either. At most, I'll let the people of the boundless heaven continent know that the two Lan family's esteemed elders don't repay their debts. Lung Ruoxue said without fear. Lass, aren't you afraid that we will kill you to silence you? The first elder threatened. No. Before you kill me, the news of you not paying your debts and silencing me will spread first. Lung Ruoxue said nonchalantly. She knew that these two old men would not casually kill people. Moreover, she had so many secret means. What was there to be afraid of? The two old men completely wilted at Lung Ruoxue's words. Alas! They knew that this little girl was not afraid of them at all, and they were not evil and bloodthirsty people. Moreover, this matter was indeed their fault, so they really couldn't do anything to these people. However, they were unwilling to be robbed of 2 billion purple coins just like that. Lass, we really don't have money. Why don't we work for you? The two old men looked at each other and made their final decision. Okay. Then let's officially start work now. However, you have to start from the lowest level, Lung Ruoxue said after some thought. No problem, the two old men answered readily. Grandpa, these two elders of the Lan family will be our servants from now on. Tell them if anyone needs anything. There's no need to be polite. Lung Ruoxue said to everyone present. Okay. I happen to be lacking an attendant by my side. Old man Zhao said happily. Yes, I need one too, Lin Liang said. I want a medicine boy. I don't know if they are up to the task, Zheng Yan said with some frustration. He looked up and down at the first elder and the third elder, as if he was thinking about which of them was more suitable. Silly boy, how are they qualified to be medicine boys? They don't even differentiate between grass and medicine. If they spoil those precious herbs, I think they will have to pay with their next life as well. The little old man said very cooperatively. Master is right. They should still be servants. Zheng Yan nodded in realization. Everyone's words made the first elder and third elder break out in cold sweat. They muttered in their hearts. Were they that bad? They could only be servants instead of anything else? Little girl, how much is our monthly pay? Third elder asked with a few black lines hanging on his forehead. Grandpa Du, what's the price for servants on the boundless heaven continent? Lung Ruoxue turned to look at the little old man and asked. That's hard to say. For a super family like the Lan family, the monthly pay given to servants is very high because they have a big family and business. An ordinary servant probably has 10 purple coins a month. For a small family, 1 purple coin is the limit, the little old man said very cautiously after thinking. Oh, I see. Then we can't even be considered a small family. Just 500 amethyst dollars a month then. Lung Ruoxue said after some thought. 500? The third elder's eyes widened in disbelief. Did he hear it wrong? Did this little girl say 500? And in amethyst coins? The mighty third elder of the Lan family working for her was only worth 500 amethyst coins? Lass, we are the elders of the Lan family. Is this all we are worth? The first elder asked in disbelief. He had never thought that he would be so cheap at this age. Ooh. So what if you're an elder of the Lan family? You're here to work for me, not to enjoy life. Moreover, you've lived like royalty since you were young. Do you know how to work? Do you know how to serve others? Lung Ruoxue asked in return. The first elder was speechless. They really didn't know how to serve others. Little girl, I admit that we don't know how to do these things, but you can arrange some other work for us. We can still be your bodyguards or something, third elder said. I don't need a bodyguard. I have little Icy. None of you can compare to it, Lung Ruoxue said honestly. Lass, I'm a mighty mystic sovereign. How can I be inferior to a puppy? The third elder couldn't help asking. Ooh. His self-esteem was hurt. Chapter 461. Repaying the debt with my body for. You can't compare to it. Go back and ask your patriarch if you don't believe me. Lung Ruoxue said with a naughty smile. What did this mean? The two old men were a little confused. You'll know when you go back and ask him. Today is your first day on duty. Go back now. Come early tomorrow to wait for orders. Lung Ruoxue said very kindly. Oh, who will be leaving first then? First elder and third elder left the inn gloomily. The two of them were still pondering how on earth did things become like this on the way back. What were they here for? Now they were completely confused, and they couldn't think of the main reason for going to see Lung Ruoxue. The only thing they knew was that they had implicated themselves at the residence of Lung Ruoxue and the others. Little Snowy, do you really intend to let the first elder and the third elder work for you? Lan Ming, who had been silent since the two old men left, couldn't help asking. He really admired Lung Ruoxue. The patriarch and elders of the Lan family couldn't do anything to her. Of course not. What can those two old men do? However, since they can't bear to part with the money, they have to repay the debt with their bodies. Lung Ruoxue said without any sympathy. In fact, she was already laughing in her heart. Hee hee, little Snowy, you're really too amazing. You can actually make them suffer. Teach me. Lan Lai ran to Lung Ruoxue and looked at her with admiration, his bright black eyes blinking nonstop. Do you want your grandfather to suffer so much? Lung Ruoxue asked speechlessly. She really didn't know what they were thinking. Yes. That old man has liked to cause trouble for me since young and drag me down. He always wreaks havoc on things I like, so our relationship isn't good at all, Lan Lai said angrily. He really hated that old man to death. But that's not what I saw, Lung Ruoxue said in realization. In her opinion, the patriarch of the Lan family loved this grandson very much. She just didn't know what irreconcilable conflicts existed between them, so it created the way they interacted with each other now. Moreover, the patriarch and the two elders of the Lan family didn't fly into a rage out of humiliation when she robbed them of so much money. There was probably some reason for Lan Lai's behavior, and this was enough to show how important he was in their hearts. You're mistaken. You don't understand that old man at all. You've never seen him, Lan Lai said indignantly. He had known that old man for more than 20 years. How could he not understand what kind of person that old man was? Who said I haven't seen him? I've seen him previously, Lung Ruoxue said helplessly. She couldn't be bothered to argue with Lan Lai's stubbornness. When did you see him? Why don't I know about it? Lan Lai said with some displeasure. What did that old man want? Did he want to interfere with his friendship again? I saw him a few days before you came, Lung Ruoxue said. Did he say anything nasty? Lan Lai said worriedly. That stinky old man had always been blunt with his friends. No, he's just here to see little Icy. Lung Ruoxue sighed and explained. Oh, that's good. Lan Lai was relieved. By the way, I have something on. I'll take my leave first, Lan Lai continued. Then he hurriedly left the inn. Lung Wudi, Sun Tung, Lung Ruoxue, and the others greeted each other before leaving with Lan Lai. Schwer, why is this kid so energetic? Lung Qingtian asked in puzzlement. I think he went back to the Lan family to settle scores with my father, Lan Ming said understandingly. Hee, that's their unique way of getting along. Outsiders can't understand it, Lung Ruoxue said with a light smile. Everyone was chatting when suddenly there was a knock on the door. Is Miss Lung here? Someone's looking for her outside. The waiter's words sounded from outside. Who's looking for me? Lung Ruoxue was a little surprised. She hadn't been in the boundless heaven continent for long, and didn't know many people. Why would someone name her? They didn't say, the waiter replied. Oh freak, let's go take a look. Lung Ruoxue turned to the freak. Okay. The freak nodded. In fact, he was quite curious. The two of them left the room, and came to the hall of the inn. At this moment, two young men stood in the middle of the hall. One of them was someone they were familiar with, Su Heng, who had once gambled with them. They did not know the other person. Su Heng, why are you here? Are you here to make a bet with me? Lung Ruoxue teased with a light smile. No. I don't want to make a bet with you anymore, Su Heng said fearfully. How would he dare to make a bet with her when all his years of savings were gone? Oh? Then why are you here? Lung Ruoxue was a little puzzled because she didn't expect the person to see her to be Su Heng. Are you Lung Ruoxue? The handsome man beside Su Heng asked before Su Heng could answer. I'm Lung Ruoxue. Why? What's the problem? Lung Ruoxue looked at the man cautiously and asked calmly. Are you from the Lingfeng continent? The handsome man couldn't help asking. No, why? Lung Ruoxue denied. Oh, I don't think you will be the Lung Ruoxue I know, the handsome man said with a sigh of relief. Do you know someone named Lung Ruoxue? Lung Ruoxue pretended to be curious, but she was guessing the man's identity in her heart. This man was handsome and had an extraordinary temperament, but his eyes carried a trace of ruthlessness and gloominess. His strength was only that of a mystic, but his identity and status should be higher than Su Heng's respect for him. Yes, but she should still be on the Lingfeng continent, the handsome man said with certainty. Oh, how should I address you? Lung Ruoxue asked curiously. Su Qian, the handsome man said softly. He is the young master of our Su family, Su Heng added. Chapter 462. The Tragic Lan Family Elders 1. Oh, so it's the young master of the Su family. Sorry for being rude, Lung Ruoxue said politely. It's okay. It's not strange that you didn't know, Su Qian said generously. Young Master Su, we are not the people you are looking for. If there's nothing else, we will take our leave, Lung Ruoxue said very politely. Okay. Su Qian nodded. Freak, let's go back to our room. Lung Ruoxue turned to the freak. Okay. The freak nodded, and the two of them turned and returned to their room. What's the name of the man beside her? Su Qian asked lightly after watching Lung Ruoxue leave. Freak, that man is called Freak, Su Heng hurriedly said. He was very curious why young master paid so much attention to Lung Ruoxue. He had been asking him about Lung Ruoxue ever since he heard her name. However, in his opinion, Lung Ruoxue was not worthy of the young master at all. Freak. Is that man's name? Do you think anyone would have such a name? Su Qian said with a cold face, a little displeased. For some reason, after seeing Lung Ruoxue just now, he was a little disappointed that she was not the person he was looking for. But that woman gave him a familiar feeling, which couldn't help making him a little puzzled. Su Heng was speechless. That man seemed to be called Freak during the competition, even though he didn't live up to his name. However, he couldn't remember much. Hurry up and find out that man's real name, Su Qian ordered, then strode out of the inn. Su Heng, who was standing in the lobby of the inn, was in a dilemma. How could he find that out? Should he ask that man himself? Leng Ruoxue and the freak immediately told her grandfather, and the others after returning to their room. Everyone was silent for a moment. Lass, so you're from the Lingfeng continent? The little old man said in surprise after a while. Yes, Leng Ruoxue said. She naturally didn't intend to hide it from them since she said it in front of them. Little Snowy. Did you just arrive when you transmuted your spiritual power? Lan Ming wiped the cold sweat off his forehead and couldn't help asking curiously. Yes. You bunch of perverts. Lan Ming was speechless. They had only been here for less than 3 months, and were already elementary mystics. This cultivation speed was really terrifying. How can we be considered perverts? The young masters of the 3 great families are the true perverts. You're already a mystic monarch at such a young age. Leng Ruoxue said nonchalantly. Little Snowy, you can't compare like this. The people on this continent are born with better aptitude than those on the Lingfeng continent. Moreover, the resources and treatment that the 3 of them have received since they were young are the best. It would be too inexcusable if their cultivation speed was still so slow, Lan Ming explained. Leng Ruoxue and the others definitely could not compare to the 3 of them in this aspect. However, he believed that Leng Ruoxue would definitely surpass them in time. That's true. Little Lan Lan, don't reveal our identities. Leng Ruoxue reminded. Don't worry, I won't say it. But Little Snowy, you and the Leng family. Lan Ming hesitated, his face also a little curious. The Leng family is the Leng family, and we are us. There's no need to confuse us. Leng Ruoxue said very decisively. Yes. Lan Ming nodded. Their Lan family also had branches in the lower realm. And after those people came to the boundless heaven continent, almost all of them would choose to return to the family. However, the status of those people in the family was even inferior to the servants born and raised in the family. Therefore, he really didn't want Leng Ruoxue to choose to return to the family like them. However, he was very clear that with Leng Ruoxue's character, she would absolutely not bother with them. Grandpa, that Su Qian might know us, so use an alias for the time being. Leng Ruoxue turned to Leng Qingtian and the others. She didn't know if her denial just now could fool Su Qian, but they had to be careful just in case. Schwer, we used our real names when we participated in the Mystic Cultivator competition. If we use an alias now, he will probably find out if he wants to investigate, Leng Qingtian said worriedly. Sister Ruoxue, don't be afraid. At most, they'll burn down the Mystic Association and make it impossible for them to investigate. Feng Lingqi said violently. 2 drops of cold sweat dripped down Leng Ruoxue's forehead. She felt that that was not a bad idea. No, don't set the fire. Icy, who had been sleeping on the bed, suddenly said. Then what do you think we should do? The Su family doesn't have anything good. Do you want to see Sister Ruoxue in danger? Feng Linger roared furiously. What are you afraid of with me around? Icy rolled its eyes and said calmly. It really didn't care about a mere Su family. You only know how to sleep, eat after waking up, and sleep after eating. Moreover, how many Su family members can you beat alone? Feng Linger said with slight disdain. Little Lan Lan, how many mystic supremacies does the Su family have? Icy glanced at Lan Ming and asked. There should be one. Blue said after some thought. There's only one. What's there to be afraid of? 2 more will be nothing more than child's play to me. Icy said nonchalantly. Keep bragging. Feng Linger didn't believe the stinky Qilin at all. I never brag. Icy retorted. It was such a pragmatic Qilin, and it had never lied. Sister Ruoxue, don't listen to it. Let me burn down the Mystic Association. Feng Linger couldn't be bothered to bicker with the Qilin, and said directly to Leng Ruoxue. No, you're not allowed to burn if I say so. Icy stood up from the bed and jumped into Leng Ruoxue's arms. He glared at the little red bird and roared. Sister Ruoxue. Feng Linger ignored Bingqi and looked directly at Leng Ruoxue. Little Snowy. Icy also looked at Leng Ruoxue, The meaning in his blue eyes was obvious. Who will you listen to? Stop arguing. Grandpa, use your real names. I don't think Su Qian can do anything to us as long as we don't admit it. Leng Ruoxue said after some thought. With her current strength, she was not afraid of the Su family even though there was still a certain gap between her and the Su family. At most, she would just deal with whatever came her way. There was nothing to be afraid of. Chapter 463. The Tragic Lan Family Elders too, okay. Leng Qingtian nodded in agreement. It's getting late. Everyone, rest early. Leng Ruoxue looked at the time and said to everyone. Everyone nodded, and went to rest. The next morning, the first elder and third elder arrived at the inn early to await orders. In the living room. If any of you need them to do anything today, just tell them. Leng Ruoxue suppressed her smile and looked at the sleepy first elder and third elder. Yes. Just let me know if there's anything. The first elder wiped the cold sweat off his forehead and said politely. However, he couldn't help thinking in his heart that these people wouldn't really want them to do manual labor, right? He was the first elder of the Lan family. Lan Hong is willing to carry out orders as well. The third elder also said. Then serve me to change my clothes and wash up first. Then accompany me to the medicinal herb exchange to set up a stall. Old Man Zhao said bluntly. Are you going to dominate both of them? No way. The old man said with some displeasure. Why not? I have a lot to do today. Old Man Zhao said with some displeasure. So what? They're not your only servants. They belong to all of us. The old man said matter-of-factly. Lass, what do you think? Old Man Zhao looked at Leng Ruoxue pleadingly, asking her to say something fair. Old Man Zhao, you should take one of them away. As for the other one, you have to let him serve the others too. Leng Ruoxue said with a light smile. All right, I'll listen to the lass. Give me the third elder. Old Man Zhao said after some thought. However, he was thinking about how to torment the third elder. Ruoxue, can you share the first elder with me? Lin Liang asked. No, the first elder is mine, the old man roared at the top of his lungs. Stop arguing. First elder will follow Grandpa Lin in the morning. His usage rights in the afternoon will go to the old man. Leng Ruoxue said very fairly. Schwer, when can we order the first elder around? Leng Qingtian said with some dissatisfaction. Tomorrow, Grandpa. There will be plenty of opportunities in the future. Leng Ruoxue suppressed her smile and comforted him. That's true. First elder, go back and tell your patriarch. If he can't bear to pay, he can also work for us to repay his debts. Leng Qingtian said very seriously. His tone and demeanor seemed to be thinking for the Lan family. The first elder's forehead was full of black lines. He was very speechless, and he couldn't help but grumble in his heart. What's wrong with you ordering us around? It's not enough with the two of us. You actually want the patriarch to be your servant too. Grandpa, the patriarch of the Lan family would rather pay than come to our house to be a servant. That old man loves his pride. Leng Ruoxue said very understandingly. In fact, she had been laughing in her heart for a long time. Grandpa and the others had learned bad things. They didn't care when it came to teasing people. Oh, that's a pity, Leng Qingtian said with a regretful face. Yes, what a pity. I've never used the patriarch as a servant before. Old Man Zhao echoed. The third elder was speechless. He really didn't know how these people's heads grew. They actually dared to have such thoughts. Alas, if the patriarch knew, he would definitely be angered to death. Little third, follow me, Old Man Zhao said to the third elder with a smile. However, the third elder still stood there without any reaction. Old Man Zhao patted the third elder's shoulder angrily and said with displeasure, I'm talking to you. Are you pretending not to hear me? Are you talking to me? Weren't you calling someone called Little Third? You didn't call for me. The third elder said aggrievedly. Boo. Why were the people around Leng Ruoxue so unreasonable? I'm calling you. Aren't you the third elder? From now on you'll be called Little Third around here. Old Man Zhao gave the third elder a name domineeringly, and said without allowing him to refute. The name Little Third is really too unpleasant. Can we change to another one? Third elder discussed pitifully. His dignity would be lost if everyone in the Lon family heard him being called Little Third. No, Little Third is simple and easy to remember. This is it. In fact, you don't have to be angry. He will be called Little First. Old Man Zao pointed at the first elder and smiled cunningly. Little First? Me? First elder pointed at himself and asked. Could he be hallucinating? It's you. You'll be called Little First from now on. Old Man Zao said with certainty. I don't want to be called Little First. You can call me First Elder. Lan Hong objected. He firmly opposed this name. There's no First Elder here. You're just a servant of our family. Old Man Zao reminded. Then you can call me Lan Hong. Anyway, I don't want to be called Little First. The First Elder objected strongly. It's all right if you don't want to be called Little First, Lung Ruoxia said with a light smile, her bright eyes full of calculations. Lass, what are your conditions? The First Elder said understandingly. Alas, this little girl had some rotten ideas again. Haha, look at all of us. There's definitely not enough with just you and the Third Elder as our servants. Isn't your Second Elder very free? Lung Ruoxia asked with a smile. Yes, he's very free. The Third Elder interrupted impatiently before the First Elder could answer. Then you can ask him for help. If he comes, you can repay more of your debts every day. Lung Ruoxia enticed like a big gray wolf seducing Little Red Riding Hood. Lass, if we bring him here, can you not call me Little Third? However, I don't object to you calling him Little Second. The Third Elder said very disloyally. No problem. You can get anyone in the Lan family that you are not happy with to work to repay your debts. Lung Ruoxia said with a naughty smile. Lass, will Lan Ninger do? The Third Elder asked carefully. Chapter 464. The Tragic Lan Family Elders 3. Her? No. I can't afford to use the most favored fifth daughter of the Lan family. Lung Ruoxia didn't want to see that woman. The First Elder and Third Elder were depressed when they heard Lung Ruoxia's words. They couldn't help but grumble in their hearts. You can't afford to use her, but you can afford to use us. What kind of logic is this? All right, your job today is to follow them. Do whatever they ask you to do. Don't have any doubts. Otherwise, your monthly pay will be deducted. Lung Ruoxia ignored the conflicted and depressed expressions of the two old men, and continued. You still want to deduct our monthly pay? The First Elder couldn't help asking. 500 amethyst coins a month. What would be left if they deducted a little more? Moreover, this stingy girl was not going to provide any food and lodging. Wasn't she making them go hungry? Of course. In your Lan family, servants' pay has to be deducted if they make a mistake too. Such a rule is common everywhere. Lung Ruoxia said understandingly. First Elder, let's go quickly. The Third Elder couldn't help but suggest. They couldn't scheme against this little girl. Their pay might be deducted if they stayed any longer. Let's go quickly. The First Elder hurriedly said after reacting. He didn't dare to stay any longer. Otherwise, who knew what this little girl would come up with again? With that, the two old men disappeared into the living room. Haha. Lung Ruoxia couldn't help laughing as she watched the First Elder and Third Elder run out of the living room. Hee. Lass. These two old men are really too timid. Old Man Zao said with a smile, in a very good mood. It's not that they are timid, but they have never seen people like you. No one in the Lan family dares to treat them like this at all. Lan Ming said with incomparable pity. He had been with Lung Ruoxia and the others for a long time, and had already slowly adapted to their way of doing things. However, the First Elder and the Third Elder were obviously still unable to adapt. Don't worry, I'll let them understand us better. Old Man Zao promised while patting his chest. Can you not torment them too badly for my sake? Lan Ming pleaded. Don't worry. I'll show mercy. Old Man Zao left the living room after speaking. Ruoxia, I'm leaving too. Lin Liang greeted her and left. Everyone disperse. I'm going to sleep for a while. Lung Ruoxia dragged the freak back to her room. After returning to her room, Lung Ruoxua brought the freak directly into the bracelet. Mommy! A little red furball jumped directly into Lung Ruoxia's arms and whined when it saw her. Poor, you seem to have gained weight. Lung Ruoxua looked at the chubby little guy in her arms and asked doubtfully. Mommy, I didn't grow fat. Little Fire said aggrievedly with tears in its pink eyes. Haha, I told you you've gained weight. Baby's voice sounded, and then a black furball jumped into Lung Ruoxia's arms. Baby, you seem to have gained weight too. Lung Ruoxua said in surprise. Baby had not changed much since she knew Baby. However, she realized today that Baby seemed to have become rounder. Big sister, you haven't cared about me for a long time. That's why you thought I was fat. Ooh. Actually, I've always had a standard figure. Baby was also very aggrieved and choked up a little. I'm sorry. Baby, big sister has been too busy recently. Why don't big brother freak come in to play with you every day? Lung Ruoxua suggested. I don't want to. The human and beast refused in unison, and they looked at Lung Ruoxua with fawning eyes. Objection overruled. It's settled. Lung Ruoxua smiled evilly and sent Horror and Baby into the freak's arms. Then she said, Freak, play with them for a while. I'll go concoct some pills. With that, Lung Ruoxua left the man and the two beasts and entered the purple bamboo hut. Schwer! The freak called out softly from behind Lung Ruoxua. Unfortunately, Lung Ruoxua ignored him. Ooh. He didn't want to accompany these beasts that only knew how to compete for favor with him. Haha. In fact, Schwer's beasts are quite cute. Empty's voice sounded from behind the freak. If you like them, I'll leave them to you. The freak hurriedly threw Baby into Empty's arms. Why didn't you give Horror to me? Empty said in puzzlement. He's my son. The freak said matter-of-factly. Horror called Schwer Mommy and called him Daddy. Of course, he couldn't give it to others. Hee Daddy, Horror loves you and Mommy so much. Horror acted coquettishly. Good. By the way, Empty, how are your injuries? The freak asked with concern. Much better. However, it's impossible to completely heal my injuries unless... Empty hesitated. He had long seen through it. He was already very satisfied that he could recover some strength after staying in this space for so long. How could he dare to hope for his injuries to recover completely? Do you need any rare herbs? There aren't any here? The freak asked in puzzlement. He might not know much about herbs, but he knew very well that the herbs in Schwer's space were already very complete. If Schwer didn't have any, then it must be very rare. Yes, there isn't any here. Empty said indifferently. In all these years, saving Icy was his only wish. He had never thought about himself. There will always be hope if you live. You have to believe in miracles. The freak comforted. Yes, as long as we are alive, nothing else is important. Empty sighed in agreement. The two of them chatted. Lung Ruoxua saw the two of them chatting happily when she emerged from the purple bamboo hut after refining the pills. She didn't know what they were talking about. Lung Ruoxua quietly came behind them and patted their shoulders mischievously. Then she teased. What are you talking about? Don't tell me you're talking bad about me. How did you know? Empty raised his eyebrows in surprise. Schwer, why would we say bad things about you? The freak said aggrievedly, tears flashing in his bright starry eyes. Chapter 465. The Tragic Lawn Family Elders 4. Hee, I was joking. 2 drops of cold sweat dripped down Lung Ruoxia's forehead. The freak was doing this again. It was really infuriating, but she just couldn't do anything to him. Alas! Was she destined to be eaten by the freak for the rest of her life? Schwer, you've been in there for a long time. I missed you. The freak said softly as he hugged Lung Ruoxia's slender waist. I went to concoct pills. Lung Ruoxia caressed his head like she was petting a puppy and comforted him. What pill did you concoct? The freak was a little curious. In the past, Schwer didn't mind letting him watch her concoct pills. However, she actually left him outside this time. Ooh, poison. Lung Ruoxia said mysteriously. Who do you intend to poison? The freak asked fearfully. Why did Schwer like to concoct poison recently? This was not a good sign. Haha, you'll know when the time comes. Lung Ruoxia kept him in suspense. As long as it's not for me, it doesn't matter who it is. The freak wiped the cold sweat off his forehead. Hee hee freak, why are you so cute? Of course not for you, Lung Ruoxua said with a naughty smile. You two are so mushy. Can you take note of your image? There are underage children here. Empty couldn't take it anymore. Underage children? Do you mean you? Lung Ruoxua deliberately said angrily. I've been an adult for many years. It's your son. Empty pointed at little fire in the freak's arms. Horror is also an adult, Lung Ruoxua said with a smile. As the spirit of heavenly materials and earthly treasures, Horror had lived for countless years. However, Horror's mind was still that of a child. Mommy, Horror has lived for a long time, Horror said with a childish tone. Yes. By the way, what time is it now? Lung Ruoxua asked. Swear it's already night outside, the freak said as he looked at the time. Oh, then let's go out quickly, Lung Ruoxua said hurriedly. Then she left the bracelet with the freak. After exiting the bracelet, the two of them came to the living room. Lung Ruoxua found that everyone seemed to be waiting for them. The first elder and the third elder were so tired that they lay directly on the ground, panting nonstop. How much work did these two old men do? Why were they so tired? Lung Ruoxua was full of doubts and puzzlement. Last year here, Old Man Zhao said hurriedly when he saw them enter and kept winking at them. Yes. We overslept, Lung Ruoxua said shyly. I say, little girl, we're as tired as a dead dog, but you're actually sleeping. Ooh, you're really too much of a bully. Third elder complained with a long face. Is it that bad? Old Man Zhao, didn't I tell you to arrange some easy work for them first? Lung Ruoxua looked at Old Man Zhao accusingly. Lass, the work I arranged for little Hong is already very easy. Ask him if you don't believe me. Did I ask him to do any heavy work? Old Man Zhao said aggrievedly, so anxious that he looked like he was about to cry. Third elder, say whatever grievance you have. Did Old Man Zhao ask you to do a new job? Lung Ruoxua asked doubtfully. He doesn't seem to have asked me to do any heavy work. I'm just running errands nonstop. My old arms and legs are about to break from running here and there. The third elder carefully recalled, but he couldn't think of what he had done today. The only thing he remembered was that he had never been idle at all. He kept spinning like a top. Lass, did you hear that? I really didn't ask him to do any heavy work. I listened to you very well. You said to let them adapt first. How could I dare not to listen? Old Man Zhao complained with an expression that said you've wronged me. Old Man Zhao, I'm sorry. The third elder is a newbie. You have to teach him slowly. Lung Ruoxua hurriedly apologized with a rather sincere expression on her face. Got it. I'll train him well. He's just too pampered and lacks training. Old Man Zhao said understandingly. And what happened to you, first elder? Lung Ruoxua turned her skeptical gaze to the first elder after settling the third elder's matter. I'm very tired, I don't want to talk. First elder stammered. Ooh, how tragic. He had already decided that he had to get a few Lan family members to go through thick and thin with him tomorrow. Alas, I really don't want to tell you that you haven't cooked dinner seeing how tired you are. Lung Ruoxua said awkwardly. What? Make dinner? Why do we have to make dinner? Third elder couldn't help shouting. Did he hear it right? This girl actually wanted them to make dinner. How could they know how to cook? Because you are our servants. So dinner is of course your job. Lung Ruoxua said matter-of-factly. Aren't you staying in the inn now? You don't need us to cook at all. Third elder hurriedly said. In the past, it was because we didn't have anyone to serve us. Now that we have servants, who will still eat in the inn. Why don't you know how to save money? Lung Ruoxua couldn't help criticizing. They might not spend money staying here, but they had to pay for their meals themselves. Third elder rolled his eyes in anger. Little girl, you're too stingy to even to save this small sum of money. You've already taken a lot of money from our Lan family. Little girl, I'm impressed. How about this? In the future, you can have free food and lodging in all the guest shops of the Lan family, okay? Don't make us cook dinner anymore. We really can't take it anymore. The first elder begged. He was very sure now that these people were messing with them in different ways. Alas! He knew that he was still considered polite to them, and had never offended them. How could they bully him like this? Boo! Really? Do the words of the first elder count? Don't you need to discuss this with your patriarch and the elder consortium? Do you have any evidence? Lung Ruoxue asked uncertainly. Yes, I can decide. Ask the third elder if you don't believe me. The first elder also dragged the third elder into the water. Chapter 466. The Tragic Lan Family Elders 5. Yes, we can decide. The third elder said hurriedly. What about the proof? Lung Ruoxue said with a smile. Last, take this token. In the future, all the inns and lodging in the Lan family will be free of charge. The first elder pulled a token from his waist helplessly, and handed it to Lung Ruoxue. He couldn't help muttering in his heart, why was this little girl so shrewd? Alas! If their Lan family had such a descendant, would they still be afraid that the Lan family would not be prosperous forever? Then I want stand on ceremony. Lung Ruoxue took the token and stored it in her ring. Lass, can we leave now? The third elder couldn't help asking. They should be able to go home since the problem of dinner was resolved. Is there anything else you need these two servants to do? Lung Ruoxue turned her gaze to everyone. Yes, a lot. Yes, I have something too. I've been waiting for them all day. Everyone spoke at once. However, the heartbeat of the first elder and third elder accelerated with every word they said. The two old men almost fainted when they were done speaking. I see. But they're both so tired today. I'll plead for them. Let them go back and rest early. Lung Ruoxue pleaded. All right. Then go back early today. Don't oversleep tomorrow. There's a pile of work waiting for you. Lung Qingtian reminded them. Okay. The first elder and third elder swallowed their anger and answered. Boo. They were so tired that they didn't even want to get up. Why aren't you leaving yet? Lung Ruoxue asked in surprise when she saw that they were still lying motionlessly after a while. Lass, we can't walk anymore. The first elder said helplessly. Alas! He really wanted to cry. Oh. Then I'll get the shopkeeper to send you back. Lung Ruoxue said thoughtfully. Hee little girl, you're so kind-hearted. The third elder couldn't help but praise. Third elder, I won't call him for nothing. You have to pay me. Lung Ruoxue reminded with a light smile. The third elder was dumbfounded. His flattery was in vain. Moreover, he was kicked by a horse. Lass, forget it. I won't trouble you anymore. Let's go ourselves. The first elder propped himself up and said speechlessly. Alas! Tears were already flowing down his face. This girl was a vampire. Goodbye then. I won't see you out. Lung Ruoxue left the living room after speaking. Everyone followed Lung Ruoxue, including Lan Ming. First elder, they've all left. What should we do? Third elder said dumbfoundedly. These people were really fast. They left just like that. No one cared about them anymore. Let's think of a way to return ourselves. The first elder sighed. First elder, that little girl said she wants remuneration, so let's give it to her. The third elder couldn't help complaining. No, that little girl is too cunning. I'm afraid I'll be tricked by her again. The first elder said very cautiously. He was really a little afraid of that girl now. He didn't dare to promise her anything easily at all. But it shouldn't cost much to get someone, right? The third elder guessed. In fact, he was quite afraid too. It's definitely higher than our monthly salary. The first elder said with some lingering fear. If they really let that little girl call someone for them, they would probably have worked for nothing for the entire month. Moreover, he really didn't know how long he could last if he continued doing this. Then let's go by ourselves. Third elder said with some heartache. Boo. He was the third elder of the Lan family. How did he end up like this? He couldn't understand why they were abusing him like this. Okay, let's go. With that, the two old men supported each other and left the living room to the guest hall. When the shopkeeper saw the first elder and third elder, he hurriedly ran to them and waited for instructions. Shopkeeper, prepare a car for us and send us back to the Lan family. The third elder ordered weakly. Yes, please wait a moment, elders. The shopkeeper quickly replied, and then turned to prepare the carriage. However, he couldn't help being puzzled. What happened to the first elder and third elder? Why were they so tired? After a while, the shopkeeper prepared the car, and arranged for the waiter to help the two elders into the car. Then he watched the two elders leave. The next day, first elder and third elder still arrived at the inn early. Their stamina had recovered after a night of rest. Elders, you look good today. Lung Ruoxue praised when she walked into the living room, and saw the first and third elders waiting there. Yes, it's okay. Oh right, little girl. They are all the elders of our elder association. From today onwards, they are also your servants. The third elder pointed at the dozen or so people standing not far away from them, and said with a smile, Want to see him and the first elder make a fool of themselves? Dream on. Therefore these people who wanted to gloat were brought here by him, and the first elder early this morning. This was called sharing difficulties together. What can they do? Lung Ruoxue looked at the dozen people with some disdain. These people were eating with faces full of oil and brains full of fat. They seemed to be inferior to the two old men. You can let them do whatever you want. There's no need to be polite. The first elder said. One sentence determined their miserable days for the next few days. When he and the third elder returned home yesterday, they were still discussing who to get to help them repay their debts. They didn't expect a few people to take the initiative to come knocking on their door. In that case, why should he be polite? Moreover, he used his position for personal gain to get everyone from the second elder's side. Except for the second elder who was pretending to be sick, of course. Oh, all right then. Lung Ruoxue looked at the dozen people carefully from head to toe, the dissatisfaction on her face increasing. Why don't I see little second? Lung Ruoxue asked with slight dissatisfaction after looking around. Chapter 467. The Tragic Lan Family Elders 6. Little second isn't feeling well. I've already reported to the patriarch to get someone to treat him, first elder said. What he implied was that he would come after being cured. Oh, I see. Lung Ruoxue nodded, and then turned her gaze to Lung Qingtian and the others. Grandpa, there are enough servants today. Pick any one of them and leave the rest to me. Okay. Lung Qingtian and the others nodded slightly, and began to choose their servants very seriously. After choosing for a long time, Lung Qingtian and the others each chose a servant with dissatisfaction. This time, there were a total of 13 Lan family elders including the first elder and the third elder, so there were 5 left after Lung Qingtian, and the others chose. These 5 naturally belonged to Lung Ruoxue and the freak. Lass, what should we do with the 5 of them? The 2 of you can't use so many, right? Old man Zhao couldn't help asking. The meaning behind his words was obvious. You wanted another one. Didn't I give the third elder to you? Lung Ruoxue said with a light smile. Ah, that's right. How did I forget little Hong? Look at my memory. Old man Zhao patted his head in realization. Lass, do I still have to work today? Third elder asked aggrievedly. What he implied was that why did he have to work even though he had already brought more than 10 people here? Of course you have to do it. However, you have subordinates today. You can instruct them to do any heavy work. Lung Ruoxue said with a naughty smile. Okay, no problem. The third elder nodded repeatedly. How could he have forgotten about this? It seemed like he could relax a little today. First elder, follow my grandfather and Feng Jing today. Lung Ruoxue looked at the first elder and ordered. Okay. The first elder said helplessly. Alas! How could he say no? Is one servant for each of you enough? Lung Ruoxue turned her gaze to Zheng En and the others and asked. That's enough. They can't help much either. Zheng En said with great dissatisfaction. Okay. As for the 5 of you, take care of my beasts. Lung Ruoxue glanced at the 5 of them, and said with a naughty smile. The elders of the Lan family couldn't help looking at the 5 of them with envy and jealousy, when they heard that they were taking care of the beasts. In their opinion, taking care of the beasts was the easiest job. All right, go and work quickly. Lung Ruoxia summoned a few beasts and said to the cute little beasts, "These 5 are your servants. You can order them whatever you want." Okay. The beast smiled mischievously and said happily, "I'm going to catch up on some sleep." Lung Ruoxia left the living room with the freak after speaking. "Let's go." Old Man Zhao said to his 2 servants. Just like that, only the 5 elders of the Lan family and Lung Ruoxia's beasts were left in the living room after Lung Qingtian, and the others took away their servants. After seeing that everyone had left, the 5 elders each found a chair to sit down on, crossed their legs, drank tea like masters, and even called the shopkeeper to give them some food. As for Lung Ruoxia's cute little beasts, they automatically ignored them. "Darling, looks like they don't care about us at all. What should we do now?" Dazzle asked softly. "Let me think about it." Darling sat on the table, crossed its calves, and propped its chin in one hand as it pondered. If they were to fight, they really did not have the confidence to defeat these old men. However, these old men were not their match in scheming. "Rise, go find Master and ask her to let those violent birds out." Darling called Rise over and ordered softly. "Okay," Rise replied. It turned to leave but was stopped. "You're not allowed to go," Icy said lazily with its eyes closed. Darling was stunned and puzzled. "Do whatever you want. What are you afraid of with me around?" Icy said softly as it raised its eyelids. "All right then," Darling said helplessly. At the same time it was thinking, you should have said so earlier. If you said so earlier, why would it want to look for that violent bird? Should I still look for Master then? Rise asked foolishly. "Of course not. Come do as I say." Darling called a few beasts and whispered, "Hee darling, those 5 old men are really too annoying. We have to teach them a lesson," Dazzle said excitedly. "Yes, they actually dared to look down on us," Darling said furiously. After making the arrangements, the beasts began to move according to their respective tasks. "Fatty, come here and massage my shoulders," Darling ordered from above as it sat on the table. "Fatty? Are you calling me? Haha. You, a little beast pet, actually dare to order me around. You're really tired of living," the fattest elder among the 5 said. "What's wrong with ordering you? You're our servant now," Darling said disdainfully. It had always looked down on people who couldn't recognize it. "Servant? Haha, this is too ridiculous. Can you afford to use us? We are the elders of the Lan family," the fatty said with a face full of arrogance. "You are an elder in the Lan family, but you are servants in front of us. Cut the crap and come work for me quickly. Otherwise, we'll serve you with the family law," Darling threatened. "Oh, elders, these hairy beasts are actually threatening us. Tell me, what should we do?" the chubby elder said to the other 4 provocatively. "Of course we have to teach these hairy beasts a lesson and let them know how powerful we are. Our Lan family isn't to be trifled with," an elder said with a face full of disdain. "All right, let's teach these little beasts a lesson then," the chubby elder said resolutely. "We are your masters, but you call us little beasts. You are obviously being disrespectful to your masters. You must be punished." Darling pretended to be angry. Actually, its main goal was to make them angry. This way, it would be justifiable to defame them. Chapter 468. Preparation for Special Training 1. Little bastard, let's see who will punish who. With that, the chubby elder pounced in the direction of Darling. However, Darling was small and exquisite, and its body was very agile. How could it be caught easily by him? As for him, because he was too fat and his movements were slow, Darling easily left marks on its body, and the other beasts watching the commotion scratched him from time to time. "What are you waiting for? Hurry up and help," the chubby elder roared furiously. He was so angry. These damn beasts actually launched a sneak attack. It was really infuriating. "Oh, coming." The other 4 people swarmed forward, wanting to help the fat elder catch Darling. However, the 5 of them collided and collapsed collectively on the ground instead. "Pull the net," Darling quickly reminded when it saw the opportunity. It had thought of several plans with the goal of catching these damn old men. Okay. The beasts each took a corner and got a huge fish net from somewhere. They then netted the 5 elders who were lying together like fishes. The beasts exerted strength together and trapped the 5 elders in the fish net, hanging them on the roof beam. After they were done, the beasts imitated the 5 of them. They crossed their legs, drank tea, and ate snacks while criticizing the 5 of them. Darling, that fattest one stinks. I don't know how long it's been since he showered. He stinks. Dazzle complained while covering its little nose. Yes, these people stink. Charm, wash them up. Darling said to Charm, which was not far away. Okay, Charm replied and then sealed the 5 people in the fish net in ice. Will they freeze to death? Then there won't be any fun. Rice said worriedly. Don't worry, I know my limits, Charm said, a naughty smile flashing in its beautiful purple eyes. Alas, I thought I could have someone to serve me, but these 5 servants are really too disobedient. Rice said with some regret, its face full of disappointment. Don't worry. They need training. We'll use them after training them. Darling comforted. Alas, that's the only way, Rice said helplessly. The few beasts felt a little sleepy after eating and chatting for a while, so they slept next to Icy. As for the 5 people on the roof beam, they were unfortunately forgotten by them. It was already nighttime when they woke up. You're awake. Lung Qingtian looked at the sleepy beasts on the recliner with a doting face. Master's grandfather, why are you here? Darling asked a little foolishly, its silver eyes noticing that there were many people in the living room. Darling, did you sleep too much? It's already nighttime, Lung Qingtian reminded helplessly. It's already nighttime. Darling scratched its fluffy little head shyly and said in surprise. Yes. By the way, where are the 5 servants serving you? Lung Qingtian asked curiously. They had only seen these little beasts sleeping alone in the living room after coming back for so long. However, the servants who were supposed to be serving them were gone. They couldn't help but feel a little angry. How dare they find chances to laze around? Servants? On top. Darling pointed to the top of the living room with its little paw. Darling, what happened to them? Lung Qingtian looked in the direction Darling was pointing. He wouldn't have known if he hadn't seen them, but he was shocked when he saw them. The 5 of them were actually hung on the roof beam and frozen into ice. It was really too tragic. They called us hairy beasts, so we punished them, Darling said calmly as if it was talking about something trivial. These people can still move. How magical. Old Man Zao exclaimed after looking at them for a while. Hee, of course they can, Charm said proudly. Charm. Well done. Old Man Zao praised. Charm smiled proudly. By the way, where's Shuer? Lung Qingtian asked. Grandpa, I'm here. Lung Ruoxia's voice sounded from behind everyone. She came after intense calculation. Ruoxia, I want to complain. First Elder Feng was the first to speak with a displeased face. What's the matter? Lung Ruoxia asked in puzzlement, her face full of puzzlement. I have a disobedient servant. He won't do anything I ask him to do. First Elder Feng complained aggrievedly. Shuer grandpa's too. Lung Qingtian also said. That person could be more well-behaved when the first elder was around. However, after the first elder left, the servant put on airs and even ordered him his master. Is this true for all of you? Lung Ruoxia asked after looking around. Yes. Everyone encountered the same situation except for Old Man Zao. Master, not only did the servants who served us not work well, they even scolded us. Darling's silver eyes welled up with tears as it complained aggrievedly. Darling, be good, don't cry. From tomorrow onwards, Master will teach them personally. I promise to teach them to be obedient. Lung Ruoxia promised. Yes. Darling nodded happily and rubbed Lung Ruoxia's body coquettishly. Grandpa, there's no medicinal herb exchange tomorrow anyway. Let these people undergo special training collectively. Lung Ruoxia looked at Lung Qingtian. Okay, Shuer grandpa has the same idea, Lung Qingtian agreed. First elder, third elder, in view of their performance today, Lung Ruoxue deliberately said half a sentence. What do you want? First elder asked fearfully. What he was most afraid of now was that Lung Ruoxue would think of ways to earn money from him again. Their performance at work is not good, so not only would your pay be deducted, you also have to be fined. Lung Ruoxue said with a friendly smile. Chapter 469. Preparation for Special Training 2. Fine? How much? Will you fine only them? The first elder asked several questions in a row. He was very scared when he heard that he would be fined, afraid that he would be implicated by those people. Master, we request compensation for mental damage. They call us hairy beasts. Darling pointed at the 5 people on the roof beam. No problem. Lung Ruoxue was very protective. How dare you bully my beasts? How can I not skin you alive? First elder, you heard it too, right? My beasts were hurt mentally, so... Lung Ruoxue deliberately didn't finish speaking. Little girl. This has nothing to do with me. The first elder wiped the cold sweat off his forehead, and wanted to cry but had no tears. Why was he so unlucky? Was he going to be implicated again? I know it's not your fault, so don't be scared. You won't be implicated. Lung Ruoxue suppressed her smile and comforted him. Oh, that's good, that's good. The first elder was finally at ease. It was good as long as he didn't ask him to take money anymore. First elder, for your sake, I'll only take one portion from them. Since they are all elders, the price for mental damage will be 1 billion per elder. Lung Ruoxue said very readily. The first elder was stunned. What did she mean by only taking one portion? Everyone had already received 1 billion yuan. How much more did this girl want? The 5 elders, who were frozen in the fishnet, could still hear the conversation between Lung Ruoxue and the others even though they were frozen. Therefore, their reactions after hearing it could be said to be relatively intense. They even used their heads to hit the ice, but it was useless. Lung Ruoxue couldn't help but snicker in her heart after seeing the reactions of the people on the roof beam from the corner of her eye. Serves you right. This is only the first step since you dare bully my beasts. First elder, do you have any objections to the mental damage compensation they need? Lung Ruoxue asked with a spurious smile. No, I have no objections. The first elder hurriedly said. It was fine as long as they didn't ask him for money. He couldn't be bothered with others. It's settled then. First elder, go back early today. Remember, special training will begin tomorrow. Don't be late. Lung Ruoxue reminded them with a smile. The expression on her face was as kind as possible. Moreover, she was the first to leave the living room after speaking, and the others followed closely behind. All right then. The first elder braced himself. For some reason, he actually had a very bad feeling. As if someone was going to be unlucky. What was going on? However, he didn't have time to think too much as he watched Lung Ruoxue chase them away. He could only slip away ashenly from the living room with the elders of the Lan family. He only remembered that there were 5 people on the beam after the third elder reminded him when he walked to the door of the inn. Therefore, he returned with the third elder and took the big ice block off the beam before returning to the Lan family. In the living room, Lung Ruoxue and the others returned after the first elder, and the others left. Lass, how do you intend to train those arrogant old men tomorrow? Old man Zhao asked curiously. This is a training plan I came up with during the day. Take a look. Lung Ruoxue took out a few pieces of paper and handed them to Lung Qingtian and the others. In fact, she had long thought that the elders would not listen obediently, so after leaving the living room in the morning, she returned to the bracelet to draft a special training plan. These plans were the fruits of the combined wisdom of her, the freak empty, and the beasts in the bracelet. They would definitely be able to torment those elders half to death. Lung Qingtian and the others took the papers and looked at them carefully. Immediately, they broke out in cold sweat and were speechless for a long time after reading them. Lass, this plan is really good. After a while, old man Zhao wiped the cold sweat off his forehead and said fearfully, Oh my God! How did this girl think of it? It's really too terrifying. Okay, as long as you're satisfied. Old Man Zhao, go find the shopkeeper with Grandpa Lin. My plan needs his cooperation. Lung Ruoxue said to the two of them with a smile. Ruoxue, will the shopkeeper agree? Those people are the elders of the Lan family. Lin Liang asked uncertainty. He didn't think the shopkeeper would dare to cooperate with them to deal with these Lan family elders. Don't worry, he will be happy to cooperate with us, Lung Ruoxue said confidently. She was very confident about this. All right, let's go find him. With that, Lin Liang and Old Man Zhao left the living room and went to the hall downstairs to look for the shopkeeper. After Lin Liang and Old Man Zhao arrived at the hall, they found the shopkeeper and explained their intentions. Then they handed the training plan to the shopkeeper. The shopkeeper opened the few pieces of paper and looked at them. Cold sweat broke out on his forehead, and his heart was racing. After a while he said, The shopkeeper was so scared and anxious that he couldn't even finish his sentence. Don't worry. We understand what you mean. You will cooperate with us. We know. Thank you. We'll go back to our rooms to prepare. Old Man Zhao didn't give the shopkeeper a chance to speak at all. He pulled Lin Liang away from the hall and returned to his room. The shopkeeper, who was standing alone at the front desk, shook his head and nodded. The others in the hall were puzzled and wondered if he was mentally abnormal. Shopkeeper, what happened to you? A waiter couldn't help coming forward to wake the shopkeeper up from his daze, and asked in puzzlement. It's okay. I'll leave for a while, the shopkeeper said to the waiter, and then hurriedly left the inn. The shopkeeper headed straight for the Lan family after leaving the inn. In the Lan family mansion. In Lan Tao's study. Patriarch, first elder and the others have returned, fifth elder reported. Oh, is there anything today? Lan Tao, who was sitting behind the desk, looked up and asked casually. Five elders offended Lung Ruoxue's beasts, and were asked by Lung Ruoxue to compensate each person with a mental damage compensation of 1 billion purple coins. The fifth elder gloated. He was really too happy to see those people bleeding profusely. Chapter 470. Preparation for Special Training 3. Oh, alas! Why does this girl earn more money than me? I'm really impressed by her. Lan Tao said helplessly. Lung Ruoxue was really too similar to him in certain aspects. Patriarch, the fifth young miss and the guards of our Lan family are still in Lung Ruoxue's hands? Where should we pay for this? The fifth elder asked carefully. He knew that the patriarch was currently in pain over this matter. However, he couldn't not remind the patriarch. After all, the patriarch had already agreed. Didn't the elders of our Lan family go to work for her? Let's use them to repay the debt. Lan Tao said matter-of-factly. The fifth elder was a little speechless. So the patriarch didn't intend to fork out this sum of money at all. No wonder the time limit that the Fire Phoenix gave the patriarch was already up, but the patriarch didn't seem to be anxious. Patriarch, the wages of those elders are too low. I'm afraid they won't be able to repay Lung Ruoxue's debts even if they work for her for a lifetime. Moreover, Lung Ruoxue doesn't provide food, so, the fifth elder reminded, but he was interrupted by Lan Tao before he could finish speaking. They can come back to the Lan family to eat. Lan Tao said nonchalantly. That's true. 2 drops of cold sweat dripped down the fifth elder's forehead as he echoed. Patriarch, the inn's manager requests an audience. At this moment, a guard's voice sounded from outside the study. Let him in. Lan Tao said, but he was muttering in his heart. Why was he here so late? Greetings, Patriarch and fifth elder. The shopkeeper bowed respectfully after entering the study, and then stood in front of Lan Tao anxiously. Just say it. Lan Tao said. Yes, Patriarch. I find it really difficult to speak about this. The shopkeeper was in a difficult position. Would the patriarch blame him after he said it? Say it if you have something to say. Spit it out if you have it. Stop wasting time. The patriarch roared a little roughly. Yes, Patriarch. Take a look at this and you will understand. The shopkeeper directly placed the few pieces of paper he had been holding in front of Lan Tao. What is this? Lan Tao opened the pieces of paper doubtfully. His expression became more serious the more he read. The shopkeeper and the fifth elder carefully observed Lan Tao's expression from the side. They saw that his face alternated between green, white, and black. It was almost a color palette. After a long while, Lan Tao read through all the plans and was silent for a while. Finally he said, "This plan is not bad. Let's do as it says." Huh. The shopkeeper thought he heard it wrong and couldn't help looking at Lan Tao in puzzlement. "I said do as it says. From tomorrow onwards, give the waiters in your shop a break. Let the elders do all the work in the shop, including cleaning the toilet." Lan Tao said loudly, "Patriarch, what can those elders do?" The shopkeeper said fearfully, "Alas! Aren't they causing trouble for me? It's precisely because they don't know how to do it that they have to learn it. If they can do anything, why train them?" Lan Tao asked in displeasure, "But what if they don't do well?" The shopkeeper was a little worried. Those people were all elders. He, a mere shopkeeper, didn't dare to care. Tell them what I said. If they don't do well, don't give them food. If they break anything, they have to pay double the compensation." Lan Tao said with a naughty smile. "Okay then," the shopkeeper replied. Since the patriarch said so, what was there to be afraid of? The patriarch would naturally support him if anything happened. Therefore he was more confident. "Fifth elder, send the second elder to Lung Ruoxua tomorrow," Lan Tao said after some thought. "Patriarch, isn't the second elder sick?" The fifth elder said helplessly. The second elder had been pretending to be sick for a day. He was still complaining about the pain just now. "Sick? You have to send him to me even if he's about to die." Lan Tao said nonchalantly, "Yes, Patriarch." The fifth elder was so happy. He let him pretend to be sick. He had nothing to say now, right? "Patriarch, I'll take my leave first," the shopkeeper said, seeing that the matter was resolved. "Okay, go down. Oh right, try to satisfy Lung Ruoxua if she has any additional requests." Lan Tao reminded. "Yes, I understand," the shopkeeper replied and left Lan Tao's study with the fifth elder. "Fifth elder, why does the patriarch treat Lung Ruoxua so differently?" The shopkeeper couldn't help asking curiously on the way out of Lan Tao's study. "Don't ask what you shouldn't ask. Just do what you have to do," the fifth elder said with a serious face. "Yes," the shopkeeper quickly replied. Then he bowed to the fifth elder and quickly strode out of the Lan family mansion. The next morning, the first elder and the third elder led the elders of the Lan family to the inn early to prepare for the so-called special training. As for the second elder, they naturally brought him here even though he was being carried in. Lung Ruoxua and the others saw the second elder lying on the stretcher as soon as they entered the living room. "Yo, little second is here today." Old man Zhao looked at the bald second elder and teased. "Oomph." The second elder snorted and turned his head to the side, ignoring old man Zhao. "Little second, it's not good for you to keep people at a distance." "Alas. I originally thought that you were a patient and wanted to arrange a more relaxed job for you. However, forget it since you don't appreciate it. I'm too lazy to be sentimental." Old man Zhao sighed with a sad expression on his face. Boo. His good intentions were actually being treated as ill intent. Old man Zhao, arrange something more relaxing for me. My performance these 2 days was pretty good, right?" Third elder said ingratiatingly. Yes. Don't worry, you're doing very well." Old man Zhao patted the third elder on the shoulder like they were good brothers. "Oh, is that so?" Third elder asked curiously. In fact, he was a little uncertain about what this old man Zhao was saying. He was very afraid that there was some undercurrent, so it was better to ask clearly. "Don't worry. It's your and the first elder's turn after arranging their work." Old man Zhao kept the third elder in suspense, wanting to make him anxious. Chapter 471. Preparation for special training for Old man Zhao quickly arranged their work. "Oh right, I'll leave little second to big sister Linger to train," Lung Ruoxua urged. "Okay, let's begin immediately." Old man Zhao took out a piece of paper and read it according to what was written on it. After arranging everything, He realized that the dozen or so elders were all in a daze. That wouldn't do. Little Hong, wake them up quickly. They can't work in this state. Old Man Zhao said to the third elder. Oh, okay. The third elder replied. Then he gathered water attribute mystic energy in his palm and threw an especially large water ball at the dozen or so elders. With a bang, the dozen or so elders instantly became all wet. However, they also returned to their senses. Haha, Little Hong, this method is good. I like it. Old Man Zhao laughed and praised. You. What right do you have to make us do the work of these servants? The fat elder who was frozen into ice yesterday was the first to launch an attack. He still didn't seem to understand the situation in front of him clearly despite what happened yesterday. You're my family's servants now, right, first elder? Old Man Zhao couldn't be bothered with him and asked the one who made the call. Yes, that's right. The patriarch also agreed. The first elder nodded very seriously. But we are elders of the Lan family, the chubby elder roared indignantly. He couldn't understand why he, a mighty elder of the Lan family, had to be subservient to others. I'm still the first elder. I'm also their servant. What's there to fuss about? The first elder said with some displeasure. What was an elder? Which of these people's status was higher than his? He didn't even say anything. What right did these people have to shout here? The chubby elder was speechless and didn't dare to say anything else. Yes. The first elder didn't even complain. How could it be his turn? Haha, as expected of the Lan family's first elder. I'm relieved to leave these elders to you. Old Man Zhao praised with a chuckle. Don't worry. I'll supervise them properly. 2 drops of cold sweat dripped down the first elder's forehead, and he secretly sighed in relief. Fortunately, he did not have to undergo special training with these elders. He just had to supervise them. Yes, listen carefully. In order to train you, all the waiters in the inn are on holiday, so their work will be completed by you. Therefore, you have to be on full alert. We won't be the ones to take action if you delay the Lan family's business. Old Man Zhao reminded. Don't worry, I will watch over them, the first elder promised. Yes. Hurry up and bring them to their jobs. Old Man Zhao urged impatiently. First elder and third elder nodded. And then they left the living room with the dozen or so elders. Those elders really began their miserable lives. Little second, it's only you now. Lung Ruoxua looked at the second elder on the single rack with a naughty smile, the gloating in her tone obvious. However, the second elder did not react at all. Little second. Lung Ruoxua called out again. The second elder still didn't react. I'm calling you. Are you deaf? Old Man Zhao kicked the second elder fiercely and roared angrily. How dare you treat me like this? Do you know who I am? I'm the second elder of the Lan family. The second elder roared in anger after reacting. He was really being bullied by a dog. The mighty second elder of the Lan family, who was also a mystic emperor, was actually being bullied by a mystic. Was there any justice in this world? Little second, please take a good look at the situation in front of you. You're only a servant of our family in front of us, not some second elder. If you want to be the second elder, do that when you return to your Lan family. Old Man Zhao reminded him rudely. How dare you treat the elders of the Lan family like this? Our patriarch won't let you go. The second elder brought up the patriarch, wanting to threaten Lung Ruoxua and the others. Is that so? What if I tell you that your patriarch used you to repay the debt? Oh right, I forgot to tell you that your patriarch sent someone to inform me last night that the Lan family is currently tight on money. So they're using you, the elders who only eat and don't work, to repay the debt. Old Man Zhao told the second elder this terrifying truth with a smile. In fact, Lan Tao sent his trusted subordinates to inform them that he wanted to use these elders to repay the debt last night after knowing their plan. At that time, they immediately understood that Lan Tao did not intend to bleed anymore. These elders seemed even more useless than the purple coins. This is impossible. The patriarch won't do that. This concerns the Lan family's honor. The second elder didn't believe Old Man Zhao at all, nor did he believe that the patriarch would use them as collateral. The Lon family has so many elders, so what if a dozen of you disappear? Moreover, look at you all, you're all full of shit. How can the Lon family afford you? Therefore, it's normal to abandon you. Old Man Zhao said with a face full of realization. No, I don't believe you. The second elder roared at the top of his lungs, his face red with anger. This is a letter personally written by your patriarch. Take a look if you don't believe me. Old Man Zhao took out a letter from his ring and handed it to the waiter, who refused to believe the truth. How did this happen? Second elder hurriedly opened the letter and couldn't help being a little dumbfounded after reading it. Ooh, this was indeed the patriarch's handwriting. But how could this be? Why would the patriarch abandon them? Alas! My condolences. Old Man Zhao said sympathetically, but his face was full of schadenfreude. Boo-hoo! The second elder couldn't take this blow and wailed. This isn't the end. Old Man Zhao frowned and said impatiently. He really couldn't tell. This little second was quite good at crying. Old Man Zhao, since little second is my servant, hand him to me. I have a way to make him unable to cry. Feng Linger flew in front of Old Man Zhao and said proudly. Chapter 472. Take the money and leave. 1. Last Linger, do you really have a method? Old Man Zhao asked doubtfully. Yes. Trust me, Feng Linger promised. All right, I'll leave little second to you. Don't let him cry anymore. It's so unsightly. Old Man Zhao couldn't take it anymore. Then he retreated to the side tactfully and allowed Feng Linger to start tormenting him. Little second, I order you not to cry anymore. Otherwise you will regret it. Feng Linger said loudly, her words full of threat. What do you want? I'm warning you, don't do anything rash. I'll resist. The second elder's eyes welled up with tears as he covered his chest with his arms, his face full of fear. Little second, look at your appearance. I'm not interested in you. Feng Linger's forehead was full of black lines as she said speechlessly. Now, she really wondered how the brains of these people from the Lon family grew. Why were their thoughts so different? Then what do you want? The second elder asked cautiously. I just want you to do what servants should do. Feng Linger smiled gently. Who's your servant? The second elder roared in response. He didn't want to be a servant to a bird. What? Do you want to disobey the orders of your patriarch? Feng Linger glared at him with her small bird eyes and questioned fiercely. No, I'm a patient now, second elder whispered. What he implied was that he couldn't do what a servant should do now. Boo. He didn't dare to disobey the orders of the patriarch, but it was impossible to make him willingly become a servant. Patient? It's okay. I know how to treat illnesses. I'll treat you. Feng Linger spat out a ball of flames and pounced at the second elder on the stand after speaking. You damn bird. Do you want to burn me to death? The second elder jumped up, quickly turned over, and escaped to the side, avoiding the fireball with extremely high temperature. After standing slightly, he kept breathing heavily, his heart was still racing, and cold sweat was flowing down his body. Such a hot fire. If he reacted slower, he would be a roasted pig. Little second, you've recovered. Ha! My medical skills are really brilliant. Feng Linger flapped her little wings happily. I'm not completely healed yet. Second elder denied resolutely that he had recovered. He swore to continue pretending to be sick until the end. Is that so? Then I'll cure you. With that, he prepared to breathe fire for the second time. No need. I'm fine, second elder said hurriedly, his face pale from fright. Are you sure? Don't force yourself. My flames don't cost anything. Feng Linger was skeptical and asked uncertainly. All right, I'm well now. I promise I'm really lively. The second elder was afraid that this bird wouldn't believe him, so he specially bounced a few times to prove his health. Oh, then I'm relieved. Let's begin work since you've recovered. Feng Linger said as if she was being skinned alive. Work? What work? Second elder couldn't help asking. He didn't know what work this little bird planned to let him do, but presumably, a bird didn't have much work for him to do. Thinking of this, he was slightly relieved. Help me wash my claws first, and then give me a foot massage. Feng Linger stretched her little paw in front of the second elder and ordered, a foot massage? The second elder was a little dumbfounded. It was just a bird. Why did it need a foot massage? He couldn't help wondering if this bird's mental state was abnormal. What? Is there a problem? Feng Linger glared and was about to spit fire again. No problem. But you're a bird. You don't need a foot massage, right? Why don't I help you smooth your feathers or something? The second elder bargained. No, smoothing my feathers is exclusive for my partner. You are not qualified, Feng Linger said disdainfully. Then arrange some other work for me. Second elder said with a long face. No, this is your only job now. If you can't do it well, then you can do it for life, Feng Linger said without hesitation. Alright then. Second elder wanted to cry but had no tears. Boo. Why was he so unlucky? He actually fell into this little red bird's claws. Then why are you still dawdling? Hurry up and bring your master me water to wash my claws. Feng Linger ordered with full force. Yes. The second elder braced himself and answered aggrievedly. Then he turned and left the living room. Haha, Sister Wuxia, I'm amazing, right? Feng Linger flew to Lung Wuxia to claim credit after the second elder left the living room. Big Sister Linger, you have to be careful. That second elder isn't a gentleman. Lung Wuxia reminded. Don't worry, I know my limits, Feng Linger promised as she patted her chest with her little wings. I'll leave Icy and the others behind to accompany you later, Lung Wuxia said after some thought. She believed that the second elder would not be able to do anything with Icy around. No need. I can handle it myself, Feng Linger said. It didn't want that stinky dog to come out and say anything. Objection overruled. Lung Wuxia didn't allow it to refuse and directly moved Icy out of the bracelet and placed it on the recliner. Boo-hoo. Alright then. Feng Linger's eyes welled up with tears as she pretended to be pitiful. Little Icy, protect them. Lung Wuxia ignored Feng Linger and spoke directly to Icy. Okay. Icy answered indifferently without even opening its eyes. Lung Wuxia dragged the freak out of the living room. After Lung Wuxia left, Feng Linger kept sneaking around the table gloomily. Old man Zhao couldn't take it anymore and couldn't help but say, Last Linger, why are you going back and forth? I'm dizzy. Why hasn't my servant returned yet? He's probably lazing around. Feng Linger roared furiously, venting all her frustration on the unlucky second elder. I'm back, second elder shouted hurriedly before entering the living room after hearing Feng Linger's words. Chapter 473. Take the money and leave too. Little second, where did you go? You actually went for so long. Feng Linger questioned with great dissatisfaction. I went to get water. The second elder wiped the cold sweat off his forehead. He was already very fast. This bird was actually still not satisfied. Ooh, it takes so long to get water. Did you go to the well? Feng Linger said mockingly. No. It's 15th elder's water that was boiling too slowly. He couldn't light the fire in the kitchen for a long time. The second elder explained as he wiped the cold sweat off his forehead. The people in the kitchen waiting to draw water were almost lining up outside the inn. Why is that old man so useless? Doesn't he know how to use fire attribute mystic energy? Feng Linger seriously doubted the intelligence of these Lan family elders. None of us elders are of the fire attribute. Moreover, the shopkeeper doesn't allow us to use mystic power. Second elder explained sadly. Ooh, how did these usually high and mighty elders end up like this today? He couldn't understand even if he racked his brains. Oh, seems like you really need to train properly. You don't have any common sense at all. How useless. Feng Linger said with contempt. Haha, little second, quickly help your master wash her claws. I'll go to the kitchen to watch the commotion. Old man Zhao ordered before pulling Lin Liang along to watch the commotion. Miss Feng, please extend your claws. The second elder came to Feng Linger with the basin in his hand sadly. Wash properly and cleanly. Linger sat down on the table and stretched out her 2 little claws in front of the second elder as she ordered. Okay. The second elder carefully held Linger's claws, which were thinner than his fingers, and carefully washed them. Boo. In fact, he was very afraid of this violent bird, so he was especially careful when he washed it, because he was afraid that Linger would set him on fire again if she was displeased. Wash here, and here. Linger kept instructing the second elder, as if she was dissatisfied with his service. Miss Feng, is this all right? The second elder was so tired that he was about to collapse. He had never known that serving a little bird and washing its claws was so tiring. Boo. He had to help massage its feet later. At the thought of this, he even wanted to bang his head against the wall. Just barely. Linger said with dissatisfaction. What should we do next? The second elder asked helplessly. A foot massage. Don't tell me you forgot it so quickly. What a lousy memory. Linger mocked with dissatisfaction. But I don't know how. The second elder deliberately acted as if he was in a difficult situation, hoping to escape this calamity. You don't know how? Then I'll teach you. Linger smiled evilly and spat out a ball of flame. She threw it up and down with a small wing as if it was her toy. She did not throw this ball of flame at the second elder, but it created a huge burden and fear in his heart. The second elder stammered, scared speechless. Boo. This violent bird was really too evil. It knew that he was afraid of fire, but it still scared him like this. How is it? Little second, do you know how to do it now? Linger said with a spurious smile. The expression on her face seemed to be saying, do you still need me to teach you? Yes. The second elder said fearfully. Boo. This bird was obviously not as strong as him, but why was he so afraid of it? He really couldn't understand no matter how hard he thought. Then let's begin. Linger said indifferently as she played with the small flame. All right. The second elder suppressed his fear and held Linger's little claws in his trembling hand. He massaged it while staring at the ball of flames, afraid that the ball of fire would run to him if Linger missed. Little second, you're not concentrating. Linger narrowed her eyes with some dissatisfaction. Concentrating. I'm very focused. The second elder hurriedly said. Boo. How could he be blamed? Who could be so focused if they were threatened like this? Little second, I'll say it one last time. If you continue to be so absent-minded, I'll turn you into a grilled pig. Linger threatened bluntly. I'm very focused. The second elder was so scared that cold sweat was flowing down his face, and he hurriedly promised. Moreover, he didn't even dare to raise his head after being threatened by Linger. Now his eyes were now solely on that pair of extremely small claws. Oh, gently. Do you want to break my claws? Linger frowned with some displeasure. I'm sorry. I didn't do it on purpose, second elder said aggrievedly. He didn't use much strength at all. Boo. The second elder was massaging the soles of a little bird very sadly. The others were not doing much better either. They were also tormented badly. In the kitchen, Old Man Zhao gloated as he looked at the disheveled 15th elder and laughed happily, agitating him nonstop. 15. Why are you so useless? You can even burn down half the kitchen by starting a fire. Alas, you have to pay a lot of money now, right? Ahem. The 15th elder was already choked by the smoke and couldn't speak. He could only cough to express his dissatisfaction. 15. You have to move faster. There are so many people outside waiting to use water. Moreover, it's going to be lunch later. You can't move at this speed. Old Man Zhao said worriedly. There were more than a dozen stoves in the kitchen of the inn, but only 2 of them really lit the fire. Half of the remaining dozen were burned by the 15th elder. As for the other half, they were also wet when they put out the fire just now, so they probably couldn't light the fire anymore. Ahem. The 15th elder kept coughing, anxious and angry, but he couldn't say anything. Little Hong, why don't you call another elder over? 15th can't handle it. Old Man Zhao turned to the 3rd elder beside him. I'll try. The 3rd elder frowned and said with some difficulty. All the waiters in the inn were on leave today, and these elders were too slow, so work was impossible to handle. Alas! He really didn't expect the elders of the Lan family to be so useless. It seemed like there was no need to count on the inn's business for the next few days. Chapter 474. Take the money and leave 3. The third elder left the kitchen and looked around, but he didn't find any elder who was free. He returned a while later, a little dejected. Little Hong, did you find anyone? Old Man Zhao asked the advisor. There is no one free? The third elder said dejectedly. Little Hong, aren't there many elders in the Lan family? Why don't you transfer a few more? Old Man Zhao suggested with a smile. Then I'll go back and try? The third elder said with some uncertainty. To be honest, he really wanted to get some more people. Otherwise, he was very afraid that he would have to go on the battlefield himself if there were not enough people. The third elder left after speaking. After third elder left, the supervisor naturally landed on Old Man Zhao. Old Man Zhao looked around for a while, and waited for third elder to return not long later. Little Hong, you're so capable. You actually brought so many elders here. Old Man Zhao praised as he looked at the 10 elders following behind the third elder with the word unwilling written on their faces. This is all thanks to the patriarch's full support, third elder said shyly. Alas! There was no choice. He would have to do it himself if he didn't get some people over. Boo. Yes. Little Hong, I'll leave their posts to you. Old Man Zhao said generously. He would not interfere with the third elder's work. I've already arranged it, third elder said. Not too shabby. Hurry up and get them on duty then. Old Man Zhao urged. The 2 of you stay here to help the 15th elder. The others follow me. Third elder left the kitchen with the other elders after instructing. When night came, the elders, who had worked for the entire day, gathered in the living room, were all so tired that they lay on the ground, not wanting to move at all. Hey, get up. Look at yourselves now. You're the elders of the Lan family's old group. Old Man Zhao roared furiously. However, no one bothered with him. Little second, you didn't do any heavy work. Why are you like them? Old Man Zhao's gaze turned to the second elder, only to see him lying on the ground like a dead dog with his arms in the same position. I gave Miss Feng a day of massage. Boo-hoo. The second elder wanted to cry. His arms were so sore that they were stiff, and he didn't have any strength left in him. He couldn't even stand up except for lying down. Did a mere massage tire you out so much? You're so useless. Old Man Zhao said disdainfully. Yes, I'm useless. Whoever is useful can do it. I really can't do this job anymore, second elder said with a slight sob. He didn't even have the strength to cry now. That won't do. Your Lan family owes us so much money, and you're using it to repay your debts. It's only been a few days. Can't you hold on any more? What should we do in the future? Old Man Zhao said worriedly. How much does our Lan family owe you? An elder couldn't help asking. Let me calculate. Old Man Zhao really counted with his fingers after speaking. You owe us 12 billion and 9,000 purple coins. We will round it down, just pay us 12 billion. Old Man Zhao said generously. All the elders lying on the ground fell silent when they heard this number. They directly pretended to be dead. Boo. It was so much. No wonder the patriarch couldn't bear to part with them. You won't be able to repay so much money in your next life. However, it's okay. You can pass this debt down to your descendants to complete it. This is a good idea. Old Man Zhao said happily, almost dancing with joy. The elders' eyes rolled back when they heard this, and they fainted directly from foaming at the mouth. Moreover, they were definitely really going to faint this time. The mental quality of the elders of the Lan family is really too poor. Old Man Zhao turned to look at the first elder and third elder, and complained aggrievedly. He didn't say anything either. Why did these people faint? Yes, their tolerance is indeed too poor, third elder said gloatingly. Anyway, it was fine as long as the person paying was not him. Little Hong. Look at them now. Can they still be on duty at night? Old Man Zhao asked doubtfully. We have to do it even if we can't. Otherwise, there won't be anyone in the inn at night. The third elder thought fiercely. Hee, don't blame him for not having sympathy. These elders were really not his cup of tea. Therefore, he didn't care about their lives at all. But they've already fainted. Old man Zhao said reluctantly. They have to work as long as you are still breathing. The first elder said, directly sentencing these elders to death. Okay, I support you. Last linger, wake them up. Old man Zhao made up his mind and said decisively. No problem, leave it to me. I have the best way to deal with people who stay in bed. Linger said cockily. After speaking, she directly spat out a flame at the elders lying on the ground. This flame was incomparably hot, and it woke them up from the pain as soon as it burned the elders. How could the elders care about being tired when they saw that their bodies were on fire? They immediately put out the fire in a hurry. Soon, the flames released by Linger were extinguished by them. In fact, Linger only wanted to wake them up. These flames looked fierce, but in fact, they were just loud thunder and small rain. They were not very lethal. They would at most be injured if they did not save them, and their lives would not be in danger. However, the elders were very afraid of death, so they easily fell into Linger's trap and jumped around happily. Moreover, they had no excuse to not work at night. Last linger, you did well. Old man Zhao praised. Yes, of course. They are lively again now. They can continue working tonight. Little second, give Rise a massage tonight. Linger ordered with a naughty smile. Chapter 475. Take the money and leave. 4. The second elder really wanted to continue fainting when he heard this, but he didn't dare. He was really afraid of death for this bird. Moreover, he believed that if he really fainted, this bird would definitely burn him to ashes without hesitation. Ooh. Little second, did you hear what I said? Linger couldn't help but roar when she saw that the second elder was ignoring her. Yes, I heard you. Second elder looked at the little golden snake coiled around the pillar, and was depressed. Ooh. He didn't know how to massage this snake. Little Hong, since they're awake, quickly bring them to work. Old man Zhao urged. Don't worry. I won't let you do it for a night. Someone will change shifts. Old man Zhao added. Yes, I've already divided the groups. The third elder left the living room with the first group after speaking. All right, the remaining elders, you can continue lying down and have a good rest. It's your turn to be on duty in a few hours. Old man Zhao said to the elders present after the third elder led the group away. The moment old man Zhao finished speaking, the elders left in the living room all lay on the ground in unison. They were really tired. Haha, we're going to rest too. First elder, don't forget to change shifts with little Hong in the latter half of the night. Old man Zhao reminded him before pulling Lin Liang out of the living room. I want to accompany my beloved too. Hee, come find me if little second isn't well behaved. Linger said to all the beasts in the living room. I'm here. There is no need for you. Icy said indifferently as it rolled its eyes. Humph. You lazy dog. It'll be too late by the time you do anything. Linger said disdainfully. She then flew out of the living room with her head held high. Linger came to Lung Ruoxia's room after leaving the living room and called out softly, Sister Ruoxia, I'm back. Linger was already in the bracelet with a flash of light. Hee, Sister Ruoxia, I did well, didn't I? Little second was almost out of breath from my torment. Linger flew in front of Lung Ruoxia and claimed credit. It's not enough. Aren't they still persisting? Lung Ruoxia said with dissatisfaction. Alas! It seemed like she had really underestimated the spirit of these elders who wanted money but not life. She really didn't understand why these elders of the Lan family were all so stingy. She also didn't know if she and the patriarch of the Lan family could squeeze money out of them. Then what should we do? Linger asked helplessly. Schwer, looks like we have to give them some heavy medicine. Lung Qingtian said. Grandpa, what heavy medicine? Lung Ruoxia was puzzled. Cleaning the toilet, Lung Qingtian said with a smirk. Grandpa, they cleaned the toilet today, Lung Ruoxia said. It's only been a day, how can I see the effects? I don't believe they can continue cleaning for a month. Lung Qingtian said evilly. He didn't believe that those elders who lived extravagantly could really bear this pain. Okay, but they can't just clean the toilets. They might as well clean the entire inn. Lung Ruoxua said after some thought. They would do a major cleaning tomorrow and clean for a month. She didn't believe that these esteemed elders could take it. Why don't we do this? Starting tomorrow, the inn will stop operations and collectively clean up. They will officially open for business after they have cleaned up. However, they will be responsible for the loss of the inn during this period, the old man said, wanting the world to be in chaos. You are too evil. These elders will be driven to their graves by you even if they don't die of exhaustion. Empty said gloatingly, his handsome face hanging with a happy smile. He knew that he would never be lonely with Lung Ruoxua and the others. It's okay. If we anger an elder to death, there will still be thousands and thousands of elders rushing forward. Lung Ruoxua didn't pity them at all. Alas! They were unlucky. I'll carry out this plan tomorrow. Old man Zhao, who entered the bracelet before Fenglinger, said excitedly. Okay, Grandpa. Be the inspectors tomorrow. Lung Ruoxua smiled evilly at everyone. No problem. Everyone quickly replied with smiles on their faces as if they were watching a good show. After discussing, Lung Ruoxua and the others returned to their rooms to rest. 3 days later, finally, there was the first elder who surrendered. In the living room. I can't take it anymore. I'm willing to pay the debt. Don't let me wipe the ground anymore, okay? An elder lay on the ground crying. Ooh. He nearly died of exhaustion. Ninth elder, get up quickly. You are one of the most senior elders in our elder consortium. How can you be so gutless? Stand up like a man. First elder scolded loudly. First elder, I really can't take it anymore. I'll pay for it, okay? I want to redeem myself. Ninth elder said while crying. So sad. Those who didn't know would think that someone had died in his family. Miss Lung, is this okay? First elder suppressed his smile and pretended to ask. Sure. 1 billion purple coins. Lung Ruoxua said with a chuckle from her chair. What? Another 1 billion? Do you want to rob us? Didn't our Lan family only owe you 12 billion in total? Why do I have to pay 1 billion alone? The ninth elder roared at the top of his lungs in pain. There were more than 20 of them in total. Why did he have to take so much alone? Ooh, don't bully me like this. That's the price. Continue to stay here for special training if you can't bear to part with it. I'm very open-minded. I won't force you. Lung Ruoxua said calmly with a light smile. I'll give it to you. I'll pay you 1 billion. I don't want to stay here anymore. The ninth elder said through gritted teeth. His flesh was starting to bleed from the pain. Ninth elder, you are very wise. Lung Ruoxua praised. Then she turned to the other elders in the living room and said, if any of you want to redeem yourselves, it will be the same at 1 billion purple coins. You're tuning in to the Li Mei's Wuxia Whispers YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.